So welcome back guys. Today we are going to see, what if Emmett's deceased sister was turned 90 years ago? Do comment your story ideas in comment section, I'll try to find that all. So let's back on story. My name is Isabel Marie McCarty Whitlock, that's right, you heard me correct. I was born in Tennessee. I have an elder brother named Emmett and a younger brother named Kyle. In 1935 on my 15th birthday my brother Emmett got mauled by a bear. After that my life went into turmoil. I ran away to Houston, Texas, where I met my death and my creators, Peter and Maria. Peter tried to save me from the fierce woman who tried to turn me for war. They bit my neck at the same time, Maria on purpose and Peter by accident. After that Peter and his wife Charlotte took me and his family, teaching me how to fight and use my powers. I forgot to mention I'm a vegetarian, and my powers, I actually have a few. I can copy people's powers and modify them. I can hear Peter's mind as he can hear mine and his creators. It's in the venom, I guess. I'm deadly when I'm mad, everything freezes like time stops. We have no idea why. Oh, and I'm a shield. So yeah, that's your update on me. Now to the story. Isabel, come and get your butt downstairs now, or you will miss your plane. I sighed and grabbed all my stuff, my guitar and my brother's stuff, off my bed and walked downstairs. Today I'm leaving Texas. Jeez Peter, no need to yell, I'm not deaf, ya know. And I would like to keep it that way, ye. I heard Charlotte laugh while Peter grunt, but trying not to laugh. I decided when I get to Forks I'll keep my southern accent. All right children, time to move. I laughed as Peter pouted at his wife. Yeah, is laugh it up, Peter thought to me as I doubled over in laughter. Once in the car I decided to think of my past. I was sitting on the swing my brother made for me off the branch of an old willow tree, waiting for my big brother to come downstairs. Today was my birthday and Emmett is going hunting with his friends, but before he goes it's some Belly Bean and Emmy Bear bonding time, as he puts it. Belly Bean. I giggled as my teddy bear of a brother threw me over his shoulder laughing. I'm finally happy to see my brother laughing again. A silly girl broke his heart and I could hear him crying out in pain. Emmy Bear, put me down, you goof. His booming laugh echoed off the trees as he placed me down. He gave me his huge smile with dimples specially saved for me and pulled me into a bone-crushing hug. Happy birthday little sis, I'm sorry I have to leave on your big day. But I made you this. He handed me a little box wrapped in a big red bow. I squealed and opened it. I gasped at the little trinket he made me. It was a beautiful necklace made out of gold, red and blue ribbon with a B&M pendant at the end with a dove and bear carving. It looked like the one I made for him, but with an M&B pendant with the carvings for his 20th birthday. I love it, Em. I'll miss you. Now go catch a grizzle for me. I was crying while I hugged my brother for dear life. Don't be sad, Belly. I'll be back, I promise. Love you, sis. I hugged him tighter and then let him go. I love you too. He ran off into the forest with his two best friends. I had a really bad feeling when he was out of sight. It was around 6 o'clock and I was in Emmett's room looking at photos of us when I heard my mother scream. I ran to the kitchen and found the worst sight of my life. My mother on the ground in my father's arms crying and two rangers at the door with Emmett's bloody coat and riffle. I'm sorry, ma'am, sir. Your son's friends found his coat with blood and riffle next to a lot of bear fur. My eyes widened. Emmett's dead. My big brother is dead. After that I hardly left Emmett's room. My father and mother bared another child a year later. When I was 19 my father and brother died in a hunting accident and my mother went into shock and passed away. When I found out I ran to my brother's room, packed his photo album he made, his riffle and his boots and jacket. I ran into my room and packed some clothes and food, took a horse and rode all the way to Texas. I had no reason why I was going there, but something told me to go there. Izzy, are you okay, sweetie? Charlotte knocked me out of my thoughts with a concerned look. We were heading to the airport. Peter too. LD me that I was going to go to high school in a small town called Forks. Not that I minded him, and Charlotte wanted to go on another honeymoon and he said that there were nice people there, so I agreed. I'm fine, Charlotte. Just thinking about my brother and how I was created. She knew my story and just nodded and continued to look out the window. It was on a rare rainy night in Houston and I had no place to go. I took shelter in a small cave on the outskirts of town. Oh my, poor child. You must be freezing. I turned around in alarm and relaxed when I saw the most beautiful lady I have ever seen, but something didn't feel right. She looked frightening, pale and her eyes were crimson red. "It's a shame I have to kill you," I screamed as she lunged for me. I heard a deafening roar and then 2 sets of teeth bite my neck. After that I only remember the excruciating pain and waking up to see Peter, Charlotte and a boy named Jasper, who according to Peter is his creator, who was also a vegetarian but struggling. Peter told me if I ever saw Jasper I must treat him with the utmost respect and address him as the god of war unless he said otherwise. After that I took up the diet and have been living with them for the past 84 years. Izzy, we're at the airport now. If you need us please just tell me, okay, and please don't get yourself in trouble. Just call and we will be there if something goes wrong. Peter looked pained yet happy at the same time. I gave them both a hug and waved them goodbye while I was boarding the plane. First class, at least I get 2 chairs to myself and maybe I could write a new song or 2. I pushed the button for the flight attendant. And just my luck it's a male, fan-frickin-tastic. "Yes miss." He looked dazzled by me. "Great. Ms. Isabel Whitlock." I smiled at him and his eyes glazed over. I giggled at most human stupidity. "How may I help you, Isabel?" I leaned closer to him just in case. "Well you see Matt, I was wondering if I could play my guitar. I wish to write a song for someone." I smiled showing my teeth and he nearly passed out. I laughed. Sure miss, go ahead." I laughed at him as he blushed and walked away. I grabbed my guitar out of the case and started strumming an unknown tune. I smiled as I kept playing. "Big brother, I can hear you crying. Because your heart's just been broken by the girl that lives down the street. Big brother, dry those tears and let me see you smiling again. 'Cause she ain't nothing but a silly girl who doesn't know what she's doing. Oh big brother, can't you see I'm hurting too? It rips a hole in my heart to see my big brother torn apart by a silly girl who lives down the street. Big brother, oh big brother, even though I'm your little sister, but you can tell me everything, even if I see you cry. Oh big brother, even though she left you, just remember the good times we had. I may be 5 years younger, but I love you till the day we die. Big brother, today is my birthday, and you're no longer hurting by that silly girl down the street. Big brother, I'm glad to see you laughing while you're running around our tree. Oh big brother, please be safe while hunting, but catch a big grizzly for me. Oh big brother, I'm starting to get that feeling that I won't be seeing you too soon. Oh big brother, now I'm the one that's crying. You left me here all alone. Big brother, you promised to come back to me. I waited in your room till the day we got the news. Big brother, I know that you're in heaven now, looking from above on me. Oh big brother, how I miss our silly talks, our piggyback rides through the park, your booming laugh and goofy smile. Oh big brother, just remember that I love you. I've come so far from that day. Oh big brother, I hope you're happy in heaven. Oh heaven, I'll miss you. Oh, I'll miss you." I looked up from my song and realized that everyone in first class was staring at me. I sighed. This is going to be interesting. Some people were looking at me in awe, some were crying and some were just speechless. "Please place your seatbelts on as we're landing in Seattle now." I sighed in relief and put my guitar away. Once off the plane, thanking good that it's cloudy today, I grabbed my stuff and walked towards the parking lot where Peter stores our cars. That's when I saw my baby, a red and white 1969 Camaro SS Pick-in Pro. I ran and chucked my stuff in the backseat and took off to Forks. Maybe I should ring Charlotte and Peter the first side and dialed Peter's number. Of course he had to pick up on the first ring. "Bella, something wrong?" He sounded out of breath. "Welcome to Forks," I sighed. I had a look in his head. Oh God. Oh gross Peter. I didn't want to see Charlotte like that. I called to tell you I'm in Forks now. Oh gross, seeing my sister in a matching red thong set is horrible. Well, stay out of my head then. I'll talk to you later. He chuckled. Yay smartass, I thought to him and hung up. My house was on the outskirts of Forks but in the middle of a large acreage. It was an old American Victorian-style house. It was yellow and was 3 stories high. It also had a small tower which was my room. Tomorrow will be a new day and I will be starting school. Great. Bella Pav. Today is my first day at Forks High School. I put on my necklace from Emmett, a black vintage lace headband, French Connection military jacket, my black, the doll, jeans, black triple crossover belt, and Christian Louboutin ankle boots. I ran downstairs and grabbed my Yves Saint Laurent satin ribbon clutch, my guitar and my car keys and headed off to Forks High. Pick in Pro. I was enrolling myself as a senior. This is the 5th time in high school and like hell I'm going to do 2 years again. I to the small school, great, and saw everyone's eyes stare at my car. I parked next to a huge red Jeep and a silver Volvo. Well, at least I'm not the only one, I said out loud, and then I got bombarded with people's thoughts. I wonder whose car that is. Oh wow, that's the 1969 Camaro SS. I wonder if it's another Cullen. I have heard of that name before. I got out of the car and sighed. All thoughts just stopped for the men anyways, but the lust just picked up. Hamad am I. ND reading and empath vampires, 5 of them, no great, there goes my day. I have to avoid being attacked by vampires. Might as well get my schedule. As I walked past lust-filled teen boys and envious teen girls, I sighed. I walked into the horrible-looking office to an old lady behind the desk. I'm here to pick up my schedule, I'm new here. The old lady looked at me and nearly passed out. I chuckled. Oh wow, she's beautiful. She could put Rosalie Hale to shame. A picture of a beautiful blonde female vampire who looked way better than me came into her mind. Are you another Cullen? She asked. Cullen. I swear I have heard of that name before, but where? No, I'm Isabelle Marie McCarty Whitlock. I gave her a small smile and she looked like she was in shock. Great. Oh okay. Well, I'm Mrs. Cope. Here is your schedule and please get all your teachers to sign this, and hand it back in at the end of the day. I just nodded and walked away. First, English 12. Second, Spanish. Third, Art. Lunch. Fourth, History 12. Fifth, Trigonometry 12. Sixth, Gym. Great. I headed off to English, and when I walked in, not only that, all eyes on me, but 2 golden eyes at the back of the class were staring at me. Well, at least they're vegetarian. The teacher, Mr. Barn, was ogling me, so was half of the class. Excuse me, sir. Can you sign this, please? I gave him a wide smile and his eyes glazed over and took the card. Here, you may take a seat next to Jasper and Rosalie Hale, but introduce yourself to the class first. So that was Rosalie. She was quite angry and jealous. The blonde boy, her brother. I know him from somewhere. Thank you, sir. My southern accent just slipped through, but I might keep it. I faced the class and continued. My name is Isabelle Whitlock. I come from Houston, Texas. You may call me Bella or Izzy. Either way doesn't matter. I'm an army brat, and yeah. I saw Rosalie and Jasper stare at me in shock. I just smiled and took my place. All through the lesson I could feel Rosalie's and Jasper's eyes burning into the side of my head. It's not polite to stare, I said rudely at vampire speed and low enough for humans not to hear. The rest of the class went quietly and slowly. I got up fast and walked to the door when the bell rang for next period. When I took a step out the door, hands stopped me from behind. Did you say Whitlock? I turned around and saw Jasper staring at me in shock and frustration, and Rosalie really pissed off. Yes, now will you get your hands off me? I shoved his hands off my shoulders and started walking away, but got grabbed again. I said, get your bloody hands off me. Who are you? Why are you here? I ignored him and headed towards my Spanish class, but only to run into the biggest vampire I have ever seen. I stood there in shock. He looked like Emmett. My hand flew to my necklace. I saw Rosalie glaring daggers at me, then I just realized I was staring at him wide-eyed and open-mouthed. Look, BTCH, he is my husband, so keep your eyes off him or I'll tear you apart and burn you. Got it? She hissed at me. I stood there and just nodded, afraid to say something stupid. Common Emmett, we got Spanish. Emmett, my brother, is with that psycho. I just beard that Jasper was still looking at me. Who are you? I asked him, still in shock and pain. The hole in my heart is ripped open again just seeing him. My name is Jasper. Mind telling me why you smell like Charlotte and Peter? He asked. He knew them. Oh my God, he's Jasper Whitlock, God of War. Oh my God. I am sorry to disrespect you. Peter would have my head if I disrespected the God of War. I saluted him and stood up straight with my hands behind my back. His eyes widened and then shock covered his face in emotions. You're Isabelle, the one Peter saved from Maria. I just nodded my head and he smiled. Common, we have Spanish. I smiled and walked into the classroom with him. The teacher was Senora Cortez. She signed the papers and told me to sit with Jasper. Rosalie was glaring dag RS at me and Emmett looked like he was deep in thought. The whole lesson I had everyone looking at me, even the teacher. I was so thankful that the bell rang for the next class. Art, yay. I realized at it was with Jasper. I walked in, got my slip signed and walked to the back desk near the window. Izzy, you do art? I laughed at Jasper's face, so full of hope. Why, yes I do, sir. He chuckled and shook his head. Izzy, it's just Jasper. So how's Peter and Charlotte? I haven't seen them for 80 years. I laughed and shook at the last thought. They are good. Peter is still acts like a child and he's a bit active with Charlotte. She's fine, bit of bird watching at house fixing, you know. And sorry Jasper, Peter always said to call you sir if I ever met you. He laughed and just smiled at me. The whole class one looked at Jasper draw a picture of his family. There was Esme and Carlisle, Alice and Edward that I haven't met yet. I also found out that he was an empath. Edward was a mind reader and Alice could see the future. I drew him colored pictures of Houston and Peter and Charlotte. He thanked me with a smile and gave me his picture of his family. The bell rang for lunch and ran to my car to grab my guitar that Emmett gave me. When I entered the cafeteria, all heads turned to me. I saw Jasper smiling at me from the other side of the cafeteria with his family and waved me over. I just hooked my head and sat at an empty table on the other side of the cafeteria in the corner. I still could hear the Cullens and they were all looking at me. I wonder why I can't read her thoughts. Edward. She better stay away from my husband Rosalie. Wow, Emmett was married and I missed it. Maybe it's a different Emmett. Oh, I love her outfit. I wonder where she got the shoes from. Alice. She really is beautiful. I will have to thank Peter later. Jasper. I raised my eyebrow at him and tapped my forehead. He just smiled at me, embarrassed, and turned away. She looks so familiar, but where do I know her from? Emmett. So it was Emmett. Big brother, I can hear you crying. Because your heart's just been broken. By the girl that lives down the street. Big brother, dry those tears. And let me see you smiling again. 'Cause she ain't nothing but a silly girl. Who doesn't know what she's doing? Oh big brother, can't you see I'm hurting too? It rips a hole in my heart. To see my big brother torn apart. By a silly girl who lives down the street. Big brother, oh big brother. Even though I'm your little sister. But you can tell me everything. Even if I see you cry. Oh big brother, even though she left you. Just remember the good times we had. I may be 5 years younger. But I love you till the day we die. Big brother, today is my birthday. And you're no longer hurting. By that silly girl down the street. Big brother, I'm glad to see you laughing. While you're running around our tree. Oh big brother, please be safe while hunting. But catch a big grizzly for me. Oh big brother, I'm starting to get that feeling. That I won't be seeing you too soon. Oh big brother, now I'm the one that's crying. You left me here all alone. Big brother, you promised to come back to me. I waited in your room till the day we got the news. Big brother, I know that you're in heaven now. Looking from above on me. Oh big brother, how I miss our silly talks. Our piggyback rides through the park. Your booming laugh and goofy smile. Oh big brother, just remember that I love you. I've come so far from that day. Oh big brother, I hope you're happy in heaven. Oh heaven, I'll miss you. Oh, I'll miss you. Oh God, it's the plane all over again. I sung too loud. Now the whole cafeteria is staring at me. I looked down to hide my pained expression, but then looked up in surprise when I felt 2 tiny arms wrap around my waist. That was so sad. How did your brother die? I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to ruin Emmett's life. He has a new family, and his wife said she would kill me. I placed my head on her shoulder and sighed. Alice, can you do me a favor? I whispered so she could just hear me. She looked at me and nodded. I grabbed the necklace around my neck and placed it in her small hand and she gasped. Give this to Emmett, my brother. I whispered again and took off towards my home, leaving my guitar behind. Alice Pav. That song was so sad. She must be in so much pain. I ran to her at human speed and gave her a hug. She looked up in surprise. That was so sad. How did your brother die? She looked pained when I asked. Oh God, I made it worse. She placed her head on my shoulder and sighed. Alice, can you do me a favor? I was shocked. How could she know my name? Jasper is in serious trouble. I couldn't answer, so I just nodded my head for her response. She put her hands behind her head and took off her beautiful neck lace and placed it in my hand, and I gasped at the B&M pendant and dove and bear charms. It looked like the one Emmett used to wear. Give this to Emmett, my brother. Then she was running to her car, at human speed, leaving her guitar behind. Her brother, Emmett, her brother. Oh God, Rosalie is dead. Jasper is dead. Edward gasped, then laughed, and my whole family looked at him like he lost his mind. I made my way back to our lunch table with the necklace in one hand and the guitar in the other. My whole family was staring at me, but Rosalie had a smug smile on her face. I my lunch and dumped it in the bin and headed towards the parking lot. We need to go home, Edward, all of us. He nodded and everyone followed us to our cars. The drive back was silent and awkward. How am I going to tell him? Will we ever see her again? She's my little sister now, oh God. When we got home, Carlisle and Esme were on the porch looking confused. Family meeting. They nodded and headed towards the dining room. Carlisle waited for everyone to enter before he started. I had a vision that the new girl would not be coming back to school and she will be leaving Forks tomorrow. Great. Alice, is there a reason why you called this family meeting? And why do you have a guitar? I sighed and looked at everyone. There's a new vampire at school. The guitar is hers and this family meeting is about her. Carlisle and Esme gasped. I went to say something but Rosalie cut me off. Why would we talk about the stupid vampire girl from Texas who tried to dazzle my husband? She hissed and I growled at her. Everyone looked at me in shock. You better apologize, quickly, I hissed at her. Alice, what is she to us? She growled at me. Because this is why, Rosalie. I threw her the necklace and she stared at it wide-eyed and then at Emmett in fright, then hid the necklace. Stupid girl. I will not let Emmett's wife from when he was human take him away from me. I will kill her, she screamed, and now everyone looked at her in shock. Emmett grabbed the necklace and had Rosalie up against the wall. Emmett, what are you doing? Put your wife down. Maybe we can ask her to leave. Carlisle said calmly. I shook my head. No. Emmett roared and Rosalie looked like she was about to kill someone. So your human wife is better than me? She isn't even pretty, she screamed and broke the necklace. I just looked at Jasp. And he spread wave after wave of calm through the room. Esme picked it up in her hands and placed the beads, ribbon and charms on the table. You're so vain, aren't you, Rose? She isn't my wife. He yelled at her and she settled down. Then who is she? Your former girlfriend. She hissed at him. She isn't my girlfriend, she's my sister. My baby sister, and you ever threaten to kill her again, Rose, I will not stick by you. He yelled in her face and she looked shocked. Everyone did. I have never seen Emmett this upset or angry. You broke my last gift to her. I made it for her to match the one she made for me. The one I always wore before you told me not to. I died on her birthday, Rosalie. I haven't seen her for nearly 90 years and you. He turned and faced Jasper. You changed her. She took your name. She's no longer a McCarty but now a Whitlock. Rose went to place her hand on his shoulder. Do not touch me, Rosalie. Emmett, where are you going? Esme sobbed while Carlisle held her. Oh, find my belly bean, he whispered and then left. Look what happens when you jump to conclusions, Rose. I sighed and went to my room. Emmett Pav. I was slowly walking to Rosie's English class so we could walk to Spanish together. How I miss my Rose. When I got close enough I could smell another vampire honey, lilac and freesias. Jasper's roasted almond and pecan smell and my beautiful wife's roses and carnations. I could see Jasper place his hands on the girl who looked exactly like my sister, but it can't be. Belly Bean died a long time ago. Yes, now will you get your hands off me? She hissed and shoved his hands off her. He grabbed her again and I swear I could see her eyes flash red. I said, get your bloody hands off me. Who are you? Why are you here? My sister look-alike ignored him and ran straight into me. I saw shock cross her face when she looked at me and her hand automatically flew to her necklace. Rosie was glaring daggers at her and then she closed her mouth and her face went back to normal. She's a funny one. I tried so hard not to laugh then and there at her. Look, BTCH, he is my husband, so keep your eyes off him or I'll tear you apart and burn you. Got it? Rose hissed at her and Rose got a nod in return. Come on, Emmett, we got Spanish. I smiled at my wonderful jealous wife and left the poor girl with Jasper. The rest of Spanish everyone was quiet, the same goes for Otto. After an eventful 2 lessons I headed my way to the cafeteria. I picked up a tray for me and Rosalie and headed to the Cullen table. When I finally sat down, the rest of my family walked in. Jasper looked happy. Edward and Alice were all lovely today. Yous get a room, I chuckled when Eddie shot me a death glare which only made me laugh harder. Students started to pile in the cafeteria and Al and the gossip went up about the new girl. Did you see the new girl and Jasper Hale in art? Jessica, God, I hate that human. Yeah, they looked so cute. Isabel is a nice girl. Angela, she was always sweet. Wait, did she say Isabel? That can't be right. Must be someone with the same name. The doors burst open and all heads turned to see the new girl walk in. Jasper had a huge smile on his face and waved her over to sit with us. But Isabel just shook her head and sat in the far corner away from us with her, looked at Jasper and raised her eyebrow at him and tapped her forehead. I looked towards my brother and he just smiled and turned away. She looks so familiar, but where do I know her from? Big brother, I can hear you crying. Because your heart's just been broken. By the girl that lives down the street. Big brother, dry those tears, and let me see you smiling again. 'Cause she ain't nothing but a silly girl. Who doesn't know what she's doing? Oh big brother, can't you see I'm hurting too? It rips a hole in my heart to see my big brother torn apart by a silly girl who lives down the street. Big brother, oh big brother, even though I'm your little sister, but you can tell me everything, even if I see you cry. Oh big brother, even though she left you, just remember the good times we had. I may be 5 years younger, but I love you till the day we die. Big brother, today is my birthday, and you're no longer hurting by that silly girl down the street. Big brother, I'm glad to see you laughing while you're running around our tree. Oh big brother, please be safe while hunting, but catch a big grizzly for me. Oh big brother, I'm starting to get that feeling that I won't be seeing you too soon. This sounds familiar. I looked at my family and the cafeteria, then back to the sad Isabel. Why do I have a feeling that I know her and want to comfort her? Oh big brother, now I'm the one that's crying. You left me here all alone. Big brother, you promised to come back to me. I waited in your room till the day we got the news. Big brother, I know that you're in heaven now, looking from above on me. Oh big brother, how I miss our silly talks. Our piggyback rides through the park. Your booming laugh and goofy smile. Oh big brother, just remember that I love you. I've come so far from that day. Oh big brother, I hope you're happy in heaven. Oh heaven, I'll miss you. Oh, I'll miss you. Alice got up and walked over to her. Isabel looked down to show her pain and then looked up shocked and surprised when my sister hugged her. That was so sad. How did your brother die? I heard the sympathy in her voice. But Belle just placed her head on her shoulder and sighed. Alice nodded and Belle just put her hands behind her head and took something off and ran out the door to her car, leaving her guitar behind. Edward gasped, then laughed out loud. I looked at him like he was crazy. How is that funny? Alice started to walk back with something small in one hand and Isabel's guitar in the other. I looked at Rosalie, who had a smug smile on her face. Alice grabbed her lunch and dumped it in the bin and headed towards the parking lot. We all followed. I guess we're going home. The drive back was silent and awkward. Alice looked deep in thought and Edward mirrored her expression. When we got home, Carlisle and Esme were on the porch looking confused. Alice must have told them. Family meeting, Alice said. And Carlisle nodded while heading towards the dining room. I was the last one to arrive. I saw that everyone was waiting for Carlisle to start. Alice, is there a reason why you called this family meeting? And why do you have a guitar? She sighed and looked at everyone. There's a new vampire at school. The guitar is hers and this family meeting is about her. Carlisle and Esme gasped. Alice opened her mouth to say something, but Rosalie cut her off. Why would we talk about the stupid vampire girl from Texas who tried to dazzle my husband? She hissed while Alice growled at her. I was shocked. Why is Alice growling? You better apologize, quickly, she hissed. Wait, apologize why? Huh, Alice? What is she to us? She growled at the angry-looking pixie. Because this is why, Rosalie. Alice th. Rue the small thing that Belle gave her at my wife. She stared at it wide-eyed and then at me in fright, then hid what she was looking at. I will not let Emmett's wife from when he was human take him away from me. I will kill her, she screamed at Alice. I grabbed whatever Rosalie had in her hands. It was my belly beans necklace I made for her when she was 15, it was the last day I ever saw her again. But why did Isabelle have it? No, Isabelle's my sister and Rosalie threatened her. I lost my temper and had Rosalie up against the wall in a second. Emmett, what are you doing? Put your wife down. Maybe we can ask her to leave. Carlyle said calmly. I started seeing red. No one will ever take my sister away again. No, I roared, and Rosalie looked like she was about to kill someone, but not just someone, my sister. So your human wife is better than me? She isn't even pretty, she screamed in my face, then broke my little belly's necklace. My eyes flashed red. I can't believe she did that. I felt wave after wave of calm through the room. I saw Esme, my mother, pick up the broken pieces. You're so vain, aren't you, Rose? She isn't my wife. I yelled and saw Rosalie get her topaz back in her eyes. Then who is she? Your former girlfriend, she hissed back. She can be so stupid. She isn't my girlfriend, she's my sister. My baby sister, and you ever threaten to kill her again, Rose, I will not stick by you. I yelled in her face and she looked shocked. So I continued, you broke my last gift to her. I made it for her to match the one she made for me. The one I always wore before you told me not to. I died on her birthday, Rosalie. I haven't seen her for nearly 90 years, and you. I faced Jasper. I was so effing mad at him. She no longer went by McCarty, she went by my brother's name. You changed her, she took your name. She's no longer a McCarty but now a Whitlock. Rose was about to touch my shoulder, but at the moment I was sickened by her. Do not touch me, Rosalie. I sighed and headed to the front door. I need my little sister back. Emmett, where are you going? Esme sobbed while Carlyle held her. To find my belly bean, I whispered to her, and I took off to find my sister. I ran through the forest trying to find my sister's honey, lilac and freesia smell. I couldn't find anything. Nip, nada, zada. Damn it. Oh, I know how to find her. We used to play a game as kids. Belly bean, oh belly bean. Where is my dearest belly bean? I cooed. I called like that for nearly 3 hours. But nothing. I sunk to the ground and looked at the stars. Nearly 90 years I went without my sister. I did everything I could to remember her. I wore my necklace for nearly a century till Rosalie yelled at me for 3 hours and warned me with no sex for a month if I didn't take it off. I smiled. Thinking back to my fuzzy human memories, I didn't know my parents. I couldn't remember if I had a girlfriend or even friends, just my little sister Isabelle. I remember pushing her on the swing I made her. The way she smiled at me in her cute laugh. She was an angel when I first saw her and held her, always smiling and laughing. I heard a faint sobbing noise and then loud screaming. No. That was my belly bean. I ran towards the screams and they just got louder and louder. He's finally happy, Belle. He's in love with that vain creature. He doesn't need you. You'll ruin everything, she whispered to herself. But he's your brother. What if he can't remember you? Maybe he doesn't love you anymore. He smiles the way he only smiled for you. He promised only for you. Belle, you got to leave. I was shocked. She thinks I forgot about her. That I didn't love her. She's going to leave me. No, I can't let her do that. Belly bean, I love you, little sister. I need you with me, my family. It's not right without you. Come home with me, Isabelle. Please. I whispered to her. I realized I fell to my knees when I spoke in her with her arms around me. Belly, I'm so sorry. I missed you so much. Please come home. It doesn't feel like home without you. She sighed and pulled me to my feet. I can't believe I made her feel so sad. This is my entire fault. I'm the worst big brother ever. Don't you dare think that, Emmett McCarty. You were the best big brother I could ever ask for. None of this is your fault, I swear. Common time to go home, she said soothingly. You know, Belly, it seems like you're always the one who looks after me. I'm sorry about your necklace. Rosalie broke it. I heard her growl, then sigh. Common Emmybeer, time to officially meet our family. She sighed and I beamed in delight that she thinks of them as her new family. Then I realized the nickname she gave me. I thought I couldn't smile bigger. We slowed down as soon as we reached the house. I didn't have to be Jasper to know she's nervous. I grabbed her hand and smiled my special smile to her and walked in the door. What I saw was shocking. Rosalie, her hair was a mess. She looked like she's been crying and she was sitting in the corner broken. Jasper was upset. Esme was crying in Carlisle's arms on the lounge and he even looked troubled. Edward and Alice were in the same position. My sister gasped and all heads turned our way. She fell to the floor half clutching her head, half clutching her heart. I rushed to her panicking. I didn't know what was wrong. Carlisle, help her please. Belly, what's wrong? Tell me what is wrong. She was sobbing. I looked at Carlisle, he didn't move a bit. No one did. No one was breathing but me and my sister. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Please don't be sad, please, he will forgive you, just stop. Everything froze. Outside was quiet. No leaves rustling in the wind, no animal noises, no cars, nothing. Belle took a few deep breaths, then everything came back and my family looked shocked. I took my sister to the couch waiting for an explanation. Before I tell you my story, I need to say a few things. They may be upsetting but I need to put you all in peace. I'm sorry about your baby boy Jackson. Esme. Mary Alice, I'm sorry for what happened to you and your creator, but please know that the monster that killed your creator is now dead. Edward, I'm sorry about your mother and father. Carlisle, I'm sorry for your father, how he forced you upon his job. Jasper, I'm sorry about your family, how you suffered for years. Your bloodlust is no more. Emmett, my big brother, I'm sorry for the pain I've caused you. My family looked shocked. I looked at my sister who was now looking at Rose. Rosalie, Lillian, Hale, I'm sorry for your brothers and mother, your friend Vera and her family. But most of all, I'm sorry for what he did to you and took everything away. I know you want a family. But please look in front of you. My brother, a version of little HHNNRY, AL love Lovey. Ing H husband AA and your siblings and P parents. My sister fell into my arms, not breathing or moving. I was terrified. I can't lose my sister now. Her eyes flew open, flashing white and then back to the warm topaz color. My family was shocked. After a while Jasper finally said something to break the silence. How my pain is gone. Everyone's is gone. I'll tell you my story, but a short version, okay? Everyone nodded. Then I was next to Rosalie, who was shocked. I faced my smug-looking sister and told her to continue. My name is Isabelle Marie McCarty, Emmett's biological sister. In 1935, on my 15th birthday, Emmett went off to hunt with his friends. I stayed in his room till supper looking at old photos of us and our family and friends. It was around 6 o'clock when I heard my mother scream. I ran to the kitchen and found the worst sight of my life. My mother on the ground in my father's arms crying and 2 rangers at the door with Emmett's bloody coat and rifle. I'm sorry, ma'am, sir. Your son's friends found his coat with blood and rifle next to a lot of bear fur. The one of the rangers said, I couldn't believe it, my big brother and idol was dead. No more jokes and piggyback are. I'ds bear like hugs and a protector from the dark. After that day I hardly left Emmett's room. My father and mother bared another child a year later, a baby brother named Kyle. I hardly spoke to Anion. I never went on my swing and I shrieked at Kyle when he swung on it one, and after that he never did again. Kyle looked so much like Emmett I could never look at him. When I was 19 my father and brought her died in a hunting accident and my mother went into shock and passed away a few hours after. I got home and found the police and rangers and the ambulance there. They told me what happened. I lost everything. When I found out I ran to my Emmett's room, packed his photo album he made, his rifle and his boots and jacket. I ran into my room and packed some clothes and food, took a horse and rode all the way to Texas. I had no reason why I was going there, but something told me to go there. It was on a rare rainy cold night in Houston and I had no place to go. I took shelter in a small cave on the outskirts of town I came across. It was getting dark and colder. I remember my hands go blue and purple. Oh my poor child, you must be freezing. I turned around in alarm and relaxed when I saw the most beautiful lady I have ever seen. But something didn't feel right. She looked frightening, pale and her eyes were crimson red. It's a shame I have to kill you, I screamed as she lunged for me. I heard a deafening roar and then 2 sets of teeth bite my neck. After that I only remember the excruciating pain and waking up to see Peter, Charlotte and a boy named Jasper, who according to Peter, is his creator, who was also a vegetarian but struggling. Peter told me if I ever saw Jasper I must treat him with the utmost respect and address him as the god of war unless he said otherwise. After that I took up the diet and have been living with them for the past 84 years. Till now, I've found my true family." She smiled and everyone was still in shock and awe. "You're that Isabel I should have known. I was new to the diet but Peter and Charlotte was out hunting one night and saw Maria with you. He wouldn't allow that so he lunged at Maria to get her off, but she moved you in his way so he bit on you. I was surprised when he brought you home. You looked like Emmett but different. It took 8 days for your transformation and I didn't understand." She smiled weakly at Jasper and turned to face Carlisle and Esme. "Dad, you can ask me about my powers now. Mom, I'm glad that you're feeling better and less feeling of heartache." She smiled and I swear that the were glowing with happiness. "What are your powers? And what happened back there? I couldn't move and then everything stopped." Belly sighed and pushed her hair out of her face. "My powers, I actually have a few. I can copy people's powers and modify them. I can hear Peter's mind as he can hear mine and his creator's. It's in the venom, I guess. I'm deadly when I'm mad, everything freezes like time stops, we have no idea why, oh and I'm a shield. And Jasper, that's why when you were thinking he knew what to say, I saw a smug smile on her face." "What do you mean modify powers and time stops? What other powers do you have?" I looked at Rose shocked. She looked at her in awe and admiration. "I make them stronger, to their full extent. Thanks to Alice, Jasper and Edward the First have their powers. But because I have met an all-knowing future telling vampire, I can see everything in concrete. Jasper's, I can heal the pain that you have in your heart, not just emotions. From Benjamin I have the elements control, earth, fire, wind, water. From Alec and Jane I have their powers but stronger, Marcus's bond, seeing, telepathy. Plus I can fix your powers too. There's a lot more but it's too many. I'm a weapon of mass destruction. As for the time stopping, I have no idea. Maybe because when I got bitten I wished time stopped." She wiggled her eyebrows like I do and laughed. "Emmett, time for a prank." Belly thought to me, "Excellent idea, lil sis. Let's go." I thought back, grinning evilly. My sister is finally home now. I will have to deal with Jasper in due time. Jasper Pav. I was staring at her in awe, shock and love. Am I really in love with Isabel McCarty? Emmett's little sister. Oh God, I really am. I broke out of my thoughts in shock for that, and that I realized that Isabel was the one who Peter saved. I could have brought her back to Emmett. "You're that Isabel. I should have known. I was new to the diet but Peter and Charlotte was out hunting one night and saw Maria with you. He wouldn't allow that so he lunged at Maria to get her off. But she moved you in his way so he bit on you. I was surprised when he brought you home. You looked like Emmett but different. It took 8 days for your transformation and I didn't understand." She smiled weakly at me and turned to face Carlisle and Esme. "Dad, you can ask me about my powers now. Mom, I'm glad that you're feeling better and less feeling of heartache." She smiled at them. Carlisle and Esme were radiating pure happiness, love and admiration. Rosalie was feeling hurt, shocked and at peace. Emmett was happy, worried and angry at me. Alice was pure joy and bubbly, and Edward was well frustrated. "What are your powers? And what happened back there? I couldn't move and then everything stopped." Belly sighed and pushed her hair out of her beautiful face. "Wait, what? My powers, I actually have a few. I can copy people's powers and modify them. I can hear Peter's mind as he can hear mine and his creator's. It's in the venom, I guess." She looked at me with an apology look on her face. "Wait, so is that why Peter always knew what to say to me?" I looked at her and she continued, "I'm deadly when I'm mad, everything freezes like time stops, we have no idea why, oh and I'm a shield. And Jasper, that's why when you were thinking he knew what to say, I saw a smug smile on her face. Oh, that's it, I'm going to have to ask Peter to stay out of my head next time, smartass." I saw her smile widen and then back to normal as fast as she put it on. "What do you mean modify powers and time stops? What other powers do you have?" Everyone looked at Rose shocked, but Rose was sending waves of awe, admiration and familial love. I smiled at her, my oh-so twin who accepted her after her story. "I make them stronger, to their full extent. Thanks to Alice, Jasper and Edward the First have their powers. But because I have met an all-knowing future-telling vampire, I can see everything in concrete. Jasper's, I can heal the pain that you have in your heart, not just emotions. From Benjamin I have the elements control, earth, fire, wind, water. From Alec and Jane I have their powers but stronger, Marcus's bond seeing, telepathy. Plus I can fix your powers too, there's a lot more but it's too many. I'm a weapon of mass destruction. As for the time stopping I have no idea. Maybe because when I got bitten I wished time stopped. She wiggled her eyebrows like Emmett does and laughed. I was shocked she has had a run-in with the Volturi. She has so much power, is she the one who is destined to take the Volturi down? I looked at my whole family. Carlisle was speechless for a change, Esme was radiating love. Rosalie was radiating shock, worry, anger and love. Alice and Edward's emotions haven't changed. But something was off. Emmett and Isabel were grinning evilly at each other then exited the house radiating mischief. Edward, Alice, will you enlighten us on why they were grinning evilly and radiation mischief? Alice went to look into the future while Edward looked even more frustrated. She's blocking Emmett with her shield. I have no clue. I chuckled at his frustration. I can't see them either, just blank spots, Alice said annoyed. Oh God, 2 McCartys now. Does anyone have to guess what they are doing? Are you just that plain blind? She had the same evil look he did. Rosalie huffed and got up from her corner. Oh God no. What do you mean Rosalie? Wow, did Edward just say that? You know, for a mind reader you're pretty slow. What does Emmett do best? She rolled her eyes at him. Oh God no. I'm hiding my piano and Volvo. Everyone laughed at his sudden realization. Esme, Carlisle, may I speak with you? I asked them softly while the others were laughing. They nodded and headed towards Carlisle's office. How will I tell Bella? How will I tell Emmett? Oh God, Emmett is going to kill me. What if she doesn't like me back? I'm going to be lonely forever. She will never love someone like me with so many scars. What would you like to speak to us about? Esme asked softly, knocking me out of my thoughts. I sat into one of the black couches Carlisle has in his room and placed my head in my hands. It's about Isabel. Today when I grabbed her I felt an electric shock. And now it feels like I love her. But the problem is Emmett. Isabel is his younger sister and what's left of his family. He will kill me. I whispered to them, I don't know what to do, I love her. Esme placed her arms around me. She was radiating happiness, love and contentment. So was Carlisle. Son, I know this is hard but you have to tell Isabel how you feel. But you have to speak to Emmett first and ask his permission to date her. If he doesn't let you, then he will have to speak to us. You deserve to be happy. Carlisle's compassionate fatherly voice filled the room. But what if she is repulsed by my scars? I feel so ugly from them. I was breaking into hysteria now. Jasper, calm down. She will love you and accept you for who you are. You're wonderful with or without your scars. Don't put yourself down. Now go find them and speak with Emmett. Esme spoke with the motherly tone she uses to state how serious she is and pushed me out the door. Thanks Mom. Thanks Dad, I said when I was jumping out the window. Bella Pav. I was out planning a prank with my brother, but we decided to hunt and plan it when the time is right. While Emmett went off to find some bear I went to a small waterfall near an open clearing. I couldn't help but then of what happened in art with Jasper. His face was so full of hope when he saw me, it was adorable, wait, adorable. Why am I thinking about him like that? I hardly know him. I love the nickname he gave me, Izzy. It sounds so right when he says that. Why am I thinking about him like this? Stop it Bella. Wait, am I smiling? Why? Oh God, I'm up to the memory when I first walked into the cafeteria. Jasper smiled at me when I walked in. I was so happy and I could feel the electricity in the air. Oh no, I'm in love with the god of war. Jasper Pav. I found Izzy's scent heading towards my waterfall and Emmett's scent heading towards the base of the mountains. He's probably hunting for bear then. Good, he will be happy. When I got there Emmett was finishing up on a bear. His head snapped in my direction ready to pounce. Hey, it's only me Emmett. No need to attack. Next thing I knew he was on top of me, pinning me down. What the hell Emmett, what was that for? I could feel his anger radiating off him. You could have told me she was my sister. Oh God, so it's because I didn't tell him that Isabel was his sister. He was in depression when he was changed after we told him he could never see his sister again. I didn't know. Okay, I'm sorry. Calm down for Carlisle's sake. I yelled at him while sending waves of peace and calm his way. I'm sorry, but I just got her back and I just found out that she was with human-killing vampires and a Whitlock. She's been alive this long and I didn't even know. I should have gone back when I was in control. I could have looked after her to see if she was okay. I feel so terrible. She is my little sister and I wasn't there for her." Emmett was radiating sorrow, self-hate, love, pity. Maybe I shouldn't tell him just yet that I like his baby sister. But I have to. Oh, I'm going to die. "Emmett, I want to speak with you about Isabel," I said while taking a few steps back from him. "I shouldn't be this afraid. But I've always been nervous asking permission to date someone's daughter, but in this case someone's younger sister. Not just any someone, this is Emmett I'm talking about. Really, Jasper, you have to ask me to date my sister. You may think I'm stupid, but when it comes to my sister I know a lot, especially when my brother makes goo-goo eyes at her. I give you permission, but I do have rules. No touchy-feely around me, please. Don't ever hurt her no matter what, or you will be a pile of Jasper puzzle pieces, and always treat her like the way she deserves." He was serious. Ought he would be a bit more difficult about this. "You have my word, Emmett. If I do something wrong I give you permission to take my arm off or something." I was sort of nervous about that. I know Emmett would do something, and I know if he does Izzy would be furious at him, and I know if I did something back she would defiantly have a go at me. "Deal. Want to hunt? I know there are some rabbits around here somewhere, or would you prefer an elk or two?" "Smartass. I can't stand herbivores. Any bear left around here, are they in hibernation? Or any mountain lions by any chance?" I asked. "Probably my luck so far I would get at least a mountain lion. But I don't really want to hunt. I want to see what my Izzy is doing." "Wait, my Izzy? Where did that come from? Can we see what Izzy is doing?" He's near my thinking spot," I asked calmly and curiously. Emmett sighed and headed off towards the direction Izzy went. When we got closer we heard her humming and tapping a small beat on her thighs. It sounded perfect. I jumped up into a tall oak tree that overlooks the waterfall and the area Isabel was in. Emmett sat on a thicker branch next to me, looking quite content but feeling a bit mischief. Why is he feeling mischief? "You know, Emmett McCarty, didn't Mama teach you not to spy? And my dear Jasper, I thought you'd be better at hiding your emotions than this." I could feel them from a mile away. She giggled and flipped over on her stomach, propping up on her elbows, smiling at us. "Did she say my dear Jasper?" "Wait, a mile away? Oh no. Sorry Belly Bean, I'll be off to see my Rosie. See you later, you lovebirds." His booming laughter echoed the trees while he was running back to the house. "You better be done before I get home. I don't want to hear my brother and sister do the nasty." His laughter got louder, followed but I thump where he doubled over in laughter. I looked towards my Izzy with amusement across my face. "You really are Emmett's sister, ain't ya, darlin'?" I let my southern drawl slide out of my mouth. Do I really like her this much that I wouldn't need to hide my accent? Ya know I always loved the southern drawl, that's why I use it. She smiled a dazzling smile at me, and rolled back on her back. I lay down next to her and looked at the stars. "Izzy, I need to tell you something." "Jasper Pav." "Izzy, I need to tell you something." Crap, how am I going to tell her I love her? I hardly know her and I love her. Maybe Alice's vision was right about finding my soulmate soon. Maybe Isabel is my soulmate. She was made by Peter and Maria. My creator and my creation. God, she is so perfect. So graceful, so sweet but deadly at the same time. Her perfect hourglass-shaped body and golden topaz eyes. Jasper, what do you need to tell me? I can't tell her yet. She doesn't feel the same about me, that I know. I'm such a fool. How could someone so beautiful love me, a cold, heartless, scared monster like me? Jasper, don't ever think about yourself like that. You're not a monster. You're not the same cold, heartless person you were when Maria changed you. You're a kind-hearted person. I have to go hunt. I'll see you back home, Jasper. I was shocked. Did she hear what else I said? Or just the last part? I watched Isabel get up from her spot on the grass with a smile on her face and headed towards the tree line. You know, Jasper, you're wrong. I do love you, Evie. And every imperfection you have, and I'll love you no matter what you did before. She smiled and ran off towards where I found Emmett hunting. I was frozen in shock. She does love me, all of me. I got Up and started walking back to the house with a smile on my face, and spreading my happiness in every direction. I got to the tree line that joins the backyard of our home. As I emerged from the tree, I ran into a very happy bouncing Alice, frustrated Edward, a smiling Rosalie, Esme, Carlisle and Emmett. Yay, Jazzy finally has a mate. Alice skipped around while she sung 2 octaves higher than normal. Alice, she said she loved me. Doesn't mean we're together yet. She stopped skipping and pouted. You ruin all my fun, she huffed while poking her tongue at me. All went quiet while she went into nay of her visions, then smiled while radiating evil. Oh no, not good. Any idea what she's thinking, Edward? He shrugged. Great help he is. What's the use of a mind reader and he can't even read his wife's mind now? I chuckled at how that thought earned me a glare from the all-knowing mind-reading vampire. We're so happy for you, son. I smiled towards my father figure. I'm amazed that this marvelous woman changed my life forever. Who accepted me for the way I was, good and bad. You better look after my baby sister Jasper or I will dismember you. I was shocked. She was telling the truth. Rosalie, whoa. I never knew she could make a threat and smile at the same time. Yes, Rosalie, I will. Okay. Emmett already told me the rules. I sent them waves of lust just to get them to stop staring at me. They were gone within the second and my whole family shuddered. I walked up to my library to read another semi-incorrect Civil War book. I wonder what Isabel is doing. God, that woman, she's so beautiful. Her curly, wavy waist-length dark mahogany hair, glistening amber gold eyes, her heart-shaped face and hourglass figure, her sexy full lips I'd love to kiss. Oh God, Jasper, get a hold of yourself. But I can't, she's so sexy, so deadly. What I wouldn't give to. Jasper, shut up please, I do not need to see that of my little sister and I highly doubted Emmett would approve of that, Edward yelled from upstairs. Oh shit, I forgot about Emmett and what he would do. Better not tell him, Edward, or I will kill you. I don't really want to lose my arm. Hey Emmett, Jasper is thinking of your little sister in a sex. Way. Oh God, I'm going to kill that traitor of an, so-called brother. Rosalie's giggling and moaning stopped and Emmett's rough purr stopped as soon as the word sexual came out of Edward's mouth. Great, here it comes. Lust stops and the anger flares up from Rosalie and Emmett. Thanks a lot, Edward, you're supposed to be my brother. Welcome, Jazz, was all he said back. 3 seconds later my R flew across the room and broken in half. I turned and saw a very furious Emmett and Rosalie. Sheet. That's it, Edward, this is war. I'm going to tell Alice that you went to the movies last weekend instead of going shopping. I started laughing at Alice's loud, "You did what?" and Edward's, "Thanks a lot, Jasper." I continued to laugh until the anger from my twin sister and her hulk of a husband increased. You were thinking of my sister in what way? I shuddered at Emmett's deathly whisper. What has Isabel done to me? I'm afraid of Emmett and I'm the god of war. This isn't right, I'm hardly never afraid. Emmett, calm down baby, let me deal with my twin brother. I sighed in relief when Emmett just glared at me and turned away. Thanks Rose, I didn't really want to lose a limb, I smiled at while she just leaned against the door frame. Who says you won't lose a limb? You do anything that she doesn't do first, and I mean sexually, you'll lose your manliness, got it? I looked at her in shock. Did she just say? Yes she did. I have never ever seen Rosalie this serious before. Okay Rose. She just nodded her head and walked back to her room. I could hear Esme yelling at Emmett for Brea king my door, and I could still hear Alice yelling her head off at Edward and forcing him into every shopping spree for the next 6 months unless she says otherwise. I chuckled at his punishment. I remember when myself, Emmett and even Carlisle got dragged along to the 12-hour shopping trip, even for a vampire that was painful. I went back to my book, half reading, and half listening to the rest of my family. This is such a peaceful house. I love my family even if we do fight a lot. Bella Pav. Love, worry, anger, calm and peace, acceptance and seriousness, confusion and wonder, all coming from other Emmett or Jasper. They were only a mile away and I could still feel their emotions. I started to hum and tap a small beat on my thighs. It was a tune I picked up from a friend of mine that I met in the year I left Peter and Charlotte for a holiday. Her name was Angel. She was even more beautiful than Rosalie. We became best friends, then soon enough sisters. We did nearly everything together. I Smiled as soon as I heard a small ruffle in the trees followed by a large one and feeling a bit of mischief, of course Emmett and Jasper. You know Emmett McCarty, didn't Mama teach you not to spy? And my dear Jasper, I thought you'd be better at hiding your emotions than this, I could feel them from a mile away. I giggled while flipping over on my stomach and propping myself up on my elbows smiling at them in a tall oak tree. Also smiling wider when I felt Jasper's shock and Emmett's amusement. Ha sorry Belly Bean, I'll be off to see my Rosie. See you later you lovebirds. His booming log, HTER echoed the trees while he was running back to the house. His thoughts were of him and Rosalie doing it, while Rosalie wearing a tight leather corset and a black lace thong with fishnets and black stilettos. You better be done before I get home, I don't wanna hear my brother and sister do the nasty. His laughter got louder followed by a thump where he doubled over in laughter. I saw Jasper looking at me followed with his amusement. You really are Emmett's sister ain't ya, darlin'? Oh God how do I love his southern accent, it's better than Peter's and Charlotte's. Ya know I always loved the southern drawl, that's why I use it. I gave him one of my famous dazzling smiles at him and rolled back onto my back and continued to look at the stars. I felt Jasper lay next to me and do the same. Izzy I need to tell you something. I waited for him to continue but I could feel his indecision, love and then lust. So he loves me too. I smiled at his feelings towards me, I'm also glad he's to deep in thought to feel my love and lust for him too. Jasper, what do you need to tell me? I smiled at him and then frowned when I heard and felt his self-disgust. How could someone so beautiful love me, a cold heartless scared monster like me? What he doesn't know is I'm also scarred from the newborns that Maria sent after me when I was with Peter and Charlotte then the time I was with Angel. Jasper, don't ever think about yourself like that. You're not a monster, you're not the same cold heartless person you were when Maria changed you. You're a kind-hearted person. I have to go hunt, I'll see you back home Jasper. I got up from my spot on the grass leaving him in shock and headed towards the tree line. I stopped to tell him how I felt. You know Jasper you're wrong. I do love you, even very imperfection you have and I'll love you no matter what you did before. It was true I didn't care that he killed people, it wasn't his fault. Maria made him into the cold heartless person he was. I headed towards the mountain base by following Emmett's scent when I felt my phone go off. Ah Peter, this should be interesting. Hello Peter. I was grinning from ear to ear. Belle something's happened. His voice was full of sadness. Not like Peter. I was still smiling, this couldn't be bad, he must be messing with me. I heard him sigh and take an unneeded breath. Belle, Angel got killed by an army of newborns. Maria found her. Belle, I'm so sorry. The smile that was once on my face was no longer. Angel, my sister Angel was killed by Maria. This is my entire fault. I didn't know what to do. I drove my phone and ran till I broke out into uncontrollable sobs. I could smell a horrible wet dog smell and feel the disgust and hate but was too upset to read their minds. Why is this happening to me? Why is Maria after me? Angel my sister is dead because of her and is my entire fault. I should have just left and stayed away from her but I couldn't, she was still only a child, she was only 14. You're on our land bloodsucker, an angry rough husky voice said followed by growls. I'm sorry. I tried to get up but I couldn't. I broke into another round of violent sobs and screams. Wow, she really is upset. Maybe I should help her. She doesn't seem like a threat. A young warm voice said. Seth, she's still a bloodsucker and is on our land, she must die. A harsh female voice said, so the young one is Seth. Leah, she's upset and she smells like the Cullens, but she's new. She must not know of the treaty. Another male said, treaty, what treaty? Oh, the werewolves. I must be on their land. If they want to kill me then so let it be. Aye, if you want to kill me Leah, go ahead. My best friend was killed because of me. I'm a monster. I tried to stop my voice from cracking and hold my emote. Irons in but I couldn't. I broke out into yet another fit of sobs and screams. Seth, pick her up and take her back to mine. I wish to speak to her and for some reason I feel as I can trust her, she's really upset and grieving. A chocolate brown wolf went into the bush and phased. A young boy no older than 15 came back out in shorts. Okay Sam, but what about Emily? I felt worry and guilt roll of Sam. He must be the leader and Emily must be his mate. I won't hurt her. I can't stand human blood, it reeks. They nodded and Seth picked me up and started to run faster than a human but much slower than a vampire towards the edge of the forest where a small house is. A young female with scars along her face and down her arm was at the door greeting Sam, but when she saw me I felt her shock and worry. She seems like a wonderful, beautiful person, I will not harm her. When we got closer she ushered myself and Seth to a small living room to the couch, followed by the rest of the pack. Thank you for your kindness. I can feel your unease but I will not harm dear Emily. She shines with love, acceptance and worry, a true beauty with a pure heart. I will not harm someone who's suffer. Ed from so much to be harmed by me or anyone else. I looked towards Sam the leader. He was radiating kindness and relief with a little bit of curious. What is your name, dear? I smiled towards Emily, and sent her a wave of gratitude and happiness. My name is Isabel Marie McCarty Whitlock, ma'am. I let my southern drawl I picked up slip and saw her smile grow wider as with everyone else but another male and Leah. If you don't mind me asking, Isabel, why are you upset? I have never felt so much pain. Was that you? One tall boy asked. From what I can tell his name is Jake. Yes, I can absorb other vampire talents. I have future seeing from Alice, mind reading from Edward, that's how I knew your names, empathy from Jasper and a few other talents, but I'm so sorry. I tried to hold in my emotions but I can't. I got my best friend and my younger sister murdered by a woman from Texas, Mexico that is after me. I only found out when you found me. I'm sorry I was on your land. I won't make that mistake again. I will stay on my side of the line. I got up to leave but fell to the ground. I need to hunt. That took up the last of my energy and crying didn't help. You're welcome here anytime, dear. I see. Couldn't breathe or I might attack. I sent her a small wave of gratefulness and sent a message to Seth. I need to hunt now. Would you take me to the line, please? He nodded and told the others who followed to help. When we got there my whole family was at the line looking ready to fight. Jasper Pav, it's been 4 hours since I got home, and an hour since everything has become peaceful again. Well, I got hit with a huge wave of grief, then a few seconds after a huge wave of panic from upstairs. Bella, no! Alice screamed. I panicked and ran straight to her room. Emmett and the rest of the family were already there. Alice was in Edward's arms on the floor curled up into a ball. Alice, what did you see? What's wrong with Belly Bean? Emmett asked anxiously. She got a call from Peter. Someone got killed by Maria. Someone close to Izzy. She ran and her future disappeared. She ran onto the Lapush side of the boundary. I'm going to kill Peter. Emmett had out his phone trying to ring Izzy but she wouldn't pick up her phone. I rung Peter, that bastard better tell me. He picked up on the first ring. Good. Well, hello Jasper. What is the pleasure for the god of war to ring me? He chuckled but I growled in return. Jasper, what's wrong? What did you say to her, Peter? Tell me now. I yelled into the phone. I was running now with my family towards the boundary line. I can't say. Why don't you ask her? I'm sorry Jasper but I can't tell you, it's her business. I growled louder. Because she ran away into the werewolves, idiot. Tell me now what Maria did. I nearly broke the phone in my hands. I will personally kill him if he doesn't tell me soon. Her best friend Angel was murdered by Maria. She was like her sister Jasper. Maria killed her because she was associated with Izzy. Look, Charlotte is going to kick my ass because I put her in danger, so we're coming to you. We'll be there as soon as we can. Bye. I hung up. By the time we got to the boundary line, we were ready to fight. If they have harmed her we will kill them. When I saw we, I mean me, Rosalie and Emmett. I growled when I saw a limp Bella in the arms of a mutt. I was going to attack but was stuck to the ground. Bella must be doing this. She needs to hunt. She is welcome here anytime, no one else. She is now part of the pack. She needs energy. We will check on her later tonight to see if she is any better. With that he handed Bella to Emmett and took off. What, she was now a pack member? Sam Pav. Sam. There's a bloodsucker on our land. Jacob all but screamed at us. Leah, Seth, Quill and Jacob, come with me. We'll check it out. I replied calmly. Sam, we must kill it. Don't be so calm, I sighed. Leah can always overreact. It might be a Cullen again. We ran till we were close. That sickly sweet scent smelled familiar. I lifted my nose up and took a deep breath. She smells like the Cullens but her scent, I know it from somewhere. We got closer and I started to hear sobbing and screaming. I phased and walked out of the bush towards the young girl. "You're on our land, bloodsucker," I said. I didn't mean to sound angry, but Leah won't shut up. They were growling at each other. I'm sorry," the girl stuttered. She tried to get up, but she broke into another round of violent sobs and screams. "I know that voice, but where?" I could hear growls behind me. Seth and Leah must be fighting again. I sighed. I was about to say something, but the poor girl beat me to it. Why can't I refer her to a bloodsucker? I feel like I know her and I already trust her. If you want to kill me, Leah, go ahead. My best friend was killed because of me. I'm a monster." Her voice cracked in a wave of sorrow. Grief, self-hate and pain ripped through me. She broke out into yet another fit of sobs and screams. How do I know her voice? Why can I feel her pain? Seth, pick her up and take her back to mine. I wish to speak to her, and for some reason I feel as I can trust her. She's really upset and grieving. He went and phased and came out in ripped jeans. Okay, Sam, but what about Emily? Oh crap, how could I forget my dear Emily? I'm bringing a bloodsucker home. I started to worry, and now I feel guilty for forgetting about her. I won't hurt her. I can't stand human blood, it reeks. I nodded and Seth picked her up and ran towards my home. How do I know her? I've come across two V.A.M. Perez that were immune to blood, the doctor and the one that saved mine and Emily's life before we met and before I was a werewolf. But she, the only vampire I can ever trust, disappeared with two blue D drinkers that took the bodies she killed to save me. I ran ahead of Seth to tell Emily that we were bringing the girl home. I greeted her at the door, but before I could tell her, she saw Seth and girl run out of the forest near out home. I saw shock and then worry run across her beautiful face. When they got closer, she ushered us inside. I started to feel uneasy about my idea. Thank you for your kindness. I can feel your unease, but I will not harm dear Emily. She shines with love, acceptance and worry, a true beauty with a pure heart. I will not harm someone who's suffered from so much. To be harmed by me or anyone else. She looked up at me. It was her. The vampire that saved me and Emily. I was relieved that it was her. I still don't know her name though. What is your name, dear? Emily asked my unspoken thought. My name is Isabel Marie McCarty Whitlock, ma'am. She said in a southern drawl. Emily's smile grew wider, as did mine and everyone else but Jared and Leah. If you don't mind me asking, Isabel, why are you upset? I have never felt so much pain. Was that you? Jake asked. Yes, I can absorb other vampire talents. I have future seeing from Alice, mind reading from Edward, that's how I knew your names. Empathy from Jasper and a few other talents, but I'm so sorry. I tried to hold in my emotions, but I can't. I got my best friend and my younger sister murdered by a woman from Texas, Mexico that is after me. I only found out when you found me. I'm sorry I was on your land. I won't make that mistake again. I will stay on my side of the line. She tried to get up but collapsed to the ground. Her eyes were almost coal black. She needs to hunt and hunt now. You're welcome here anytime, dear. I whipped my head around to see Emily smile at Isabel. I turned around to see Seth nod and pick Isabel up. Sam, Jake, Quill and Embry, can you follow me just in case her family are there, please? We followed him out the door and ran towards the boundary line. By the time we got to the boundary line, the Cullens were looking like they were ready to fight. The tall blonde bloodsucker was growling at Seth when he saw Isabel in his arms. He was about to attack, but he couldn't move his legs. I looked at Isabel and her hand was clenched into a fist. Seth, she is the only vampire on this land. I will explain later. She is now the only member of the pack that is a vampire. She needs to hunt. She is welcome here anytime, no one else. She is now part of the pack. She needs energy. We will check on her later tonight to see if she is any better. With that he handed Bella to big one that was glaring at him and turned and ran back to us. Everyone was quiet, but I could hear Leah and Jared screaming at us when we came into view. Emily was outside too, looking happier than she's ever been. How could you? A bloodsucker is a pack member. What the hell is your problem? Leah screamed at me. I sighed. I guess it's time to explain. Are you that stupid, Sam? Really, a bloodsucker is a pack member? Well, at least Jared kept his temper in check. I turned and faced Emily with a smile. Ready to tell them, sweetie? She smiled and nodded. Everyone followed us inside to the living room to explain why I let her be part of the pack. I could see Seth was over the moon about the idea. Who would you guys like first to start? Me or Emily? I sighed. This will take forever and I want to see how Isabel is. I could see Emily is worried too, she's fidgeting. You both know her. How? Sam, you start. How can you trust a bloodsucker? Embry said in an edgy voice. Right. Before IW. As a werewolf and before I met Emily I went to Seattle. Remember that day I came home black and blue and broke? I looked towards Leah who was staring at me wide-eyed with a mix of realization. She nodded so I continued. I was walking along the footpath when I got pushed into an alley by a group of men. They robbed me and then kicking and beating me. I thought I was going to die. I closed my eyes waiting but it never came. I was confused. When I looked up I saw 2 human drinkers disposing of the bodies and a girl. Isabel sitting there with her head in her hands. She was crying by what it Lou. Head like and her hands were covered in blood. You're safe now, I killed them, she said with sorrow. She looked at me, her golden eyes were shining with sadness. I thanked her and she started to walk away but stopped. In a year a girl will come. Love her like she was your world. Everything will work out when the time comes. Her heart and yours are pure and together your bond will be unbroken. She said without looking at me and she took off after the human drinkers. I swore that if I ever came across her again I would repay her for saving my life. I knew she was a vampire but she saved my life and Emily's. I smiled towards Emily. I noticed she was crying. This subject must be hard. I squeezed her hand to let her know I was here for her. Emily, do you want to tell your story or would you like me to? I whispered to her. You tell them I'm going for some air. I love you. She kissed my forehead and walked out the front door. Sam, what's wrong with Emily? Leah asked. She sounded worried. Do you remember Annabelle? She nodded. She got killed by a group of men and Emily got away, but what has that got to do with that bloodsucker you let into our pack? I sighed and shook my head. You mean Anna was killed by vampires? I nodded and everyone gasped. When Emily was 15 he and her best friend or you could say sister went to the forest for a walk. It started to get dark and they were lost. Annabelle wasn't afraid but Emily was. Anna was always the brave one. I looked at everyone and they had shock and worry across their faces. Well, Anna was trying to calm Emily down because she was worried about the dangers that lurk in the forest. After a while Emily started to fall asleep while Anna was trying to start a fire. They heard a twig snap behind them followed by several growls. Annabelle stood in front of Emily protectively with a thick stick. Foolish girl, do you think that will hurt us? One leech said. I think she does. Dimitri, a young blonde girl with a devilish smile said. Marcus, her blood sings. Can I kill her yet? The one known as Dimitri said. An old-looking leech came out of the darkness but didn't say anything. He looked at the girls and left. Emily and Annabelle didn't say anything, just stood there frozen. The others left but the one who took interest in Annabelle, he attacked her right in front of Emily. She screamed at Emily to run but she wouldn't move. Then out of nowhere Dimitri was thrown off Annabelle by a golden-eyed girl. Everyone was on the edges of the seats looking at me. Obviously Leah hadn't heard this story because she was also looking like she was interested in what I was saying. Well, Isabel, I thought we scared you off after our run-in down south. The bloodsucker hissed. Well, Dimitri, I didn't want to be caught. Now get off my territory or I will have to kill you. You took one innocent life tonight on my land, now leave. I will not let you harm another. She hissed back. He took a lunge at her but was thrown back by some sort of shield. He left in a hurry growling. Isabel grabbed Emily and Annabelle who didn't make it. She took them to the edge of the forest and whispered something to her and ran off. Emily came out of shock and screamed and cried over her dear friend. The whole tribe heard her screams and came running to her aid, but it was too late. Annabelle was murdered and Isabel saved Emily's life. Everyone was looking at me, shocked. I promised if I ever saw that girl who saved me I would repay her with my life. We turned to look at Emily who just walked through the door. I smiled at her and patted the seat next to me. Emily, what did she whisper to you? Quill asked. She said, you're protected by an angel. I can feel it, Emily. Your savior is in La Push, but be warned that you'll be scarred but your heart remains beautiful. She smiled while everyone including me looked at her shocked. What? I stuttered. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. Emily, was this the week before you came to Forks? Leah, of course Leah had to ask. Yes, it was. After Annabelle's funeral I felt a pull in the direction La Push was in. Mom told me that night I should go and see you. I asked why, and she just said, I have a feeling you want to go there, and I'm glad I met Isabel. She brought me to Sam. Speaking of Isabel, I want to see how she is. Can we go see her now? I want to see my guardian. She smiled at me, then looked at everyone with a serious look. No harm will come to her or the Cullens, do you understand? No silly bloodsucker or leech comments, all right. Address them with the proper names. Do not act like a pack of wild dogs. Everyone laughed but agreed. I stood up, pulling Emily with me. I want to find answers about how she knew about what I was. Yes, I was mad about knowing Emily will be scarred, but she still came. I want to thank her for bringing my Emily to me. I'm running Emily to the Cullens. If anyone wants to come, then come. If you have a problem about it, stay, I said while walking towards the door. I turned around once I was outside and I saw Leah, Seth, of course, Seth, Jacob, Embry, Quill, Jared and Paul, the whole pack. Wow. Right, let's go. I phased and waited for Emily to get on my back. Okay Sam, she can be one of us. Leah, yes, yes, yes. Can you guess who that was? Yep, Seth. I'm not happy about it, but I will agree. Jacob, Sam, me and Jared were thinking, what about the elders? Paul asked. Crap, I haven't thought about that. Well, does everyone agree about her being the only cold one in the tribe as a protector as well? I asked cautiously. Yes, they all said in unison. Well, they should allow this when we tell them our story. Okay everybody, phase, or if you Paul and Jared feel uncomfortable, stay out here and form. Okay. Yeah, thanks Sam, Paul and Jared said in unison. I slowed down and leaned forward so Emily could get off my back. Once she did, I phased and put my ripped jeans on. Everyone followed me and Emily to the front door. The smell was horrible, but I must see Isabel. As soon as we got to the door, the big one, I think Emmett, opened the door. What do you mongrels want? He hissed towards me. I was about to say something smart at him, but Emily spoke. We wish to see Isabel. Please do not insult us and we will not insult you back. I looked at her surprised. She stood up to the leech. I looked back to the big one and he had a look of pain on his face. What's wrong? Is Isabel okay? I was worried. I know she is a cold one, but she saved my life and Emily. Come in. Please ignore my wife and whatever she says. He walked in at a human pace. When we all rounded to the living room, the whole family but 3 were there. They all looked upset. Carlisle, Jasper, come here, he yelled. The next second the doctor and the other one was standing next to him. They want to see Isabel. Should we tell them? Tell us what? Is she okay? What happened? So many thoughts were running through my head. Then Edward, the first thing, screamed and held his hands to his head like he was blocking his ears. Emmett, tell them, please. Their minds are asking millions of questions at once, please. He must be the mind reader. Emmett sighed and faced us. Isabel refuses to hunt. She won't let anyone in the room. She won't speak to anyone. We tried forcing blood into her, but she spits it out. We're worried. I can't lose my little sister again. Saint got her back. He broke down into violent sobs like Isabel did. May Sam and I see her, please? She might let us in, Emily said softly. Her voice broke like she was trying not to cry herself. All right, but please, if you can make her try to hunt. She needs to feed to get her strength back, Jasper said in a worried tone. I was starting to worry about Emily too. She might attack her. But didn't she say human blood reeks? We slowly walked up the stairs to the 3rd floor where Isabel was. Jasper pointed to the door at the very end. He looked like he was about to cry. I gave him a small smile and he walked back downstairs. Emily was already waiting at the door for me. Isabel, sweetie, it's Emily and Sam, may we come in? Emily said softly. I heard the door click and slightly open. I pushed it open for Emily and walked in. What I saw was heartbreaking. Isabel was in the same clothes. Her hair was a mess and she looked paler, if that was possible. Her eyes were dark but slightly got some color left and bruises under her eyes. Emily let out a small cry and went to sit in the corner with Isabel while I sat in the chair near the window. Isabel, do you remember me and Sam? She shook her head as to say, no. Is it possible for vampires to have an emotional breakdown? Remember the girl you saved in the forest 3 years ago from the red-eyed vampire? But you couldn't save the other. Isabel nodded. Well, I'm the girl you saved. Everything you told me that night was true. I am scarred but I'm still that beautiful person at heart. She smiled at Isabel. I was shocked when I saw Isabel hug Emily and start sobbing. I'm sorry I couldn't save your friend, it was my fault she's dead. If I didn't lead them to you she would still be alive, they were after me. I'm a true monster. Emily looked angry. Why would she be angry? Isabel, look what you did instead, you saved me. I'm truly grateful for that, but you brought me to my soulmate. Annabelle would be happy that she risked her life to see me happy. You're not a monster, and you're a guardian, an angel. Because of you my Sam was saved by those men who were going to kill him, because of you I'm alive and happy. I owe you my life. Isabel, do not doubt what you truly are, not a cold-hearted vampire or a killer or a monster but a vampire with a pure selfless heart. As soon as Emily said that, Isabel looked at me and smiled. I told you your bond is unbreakable. I looked at her. How did she know? Those vampires that I saved Emily from were not my first run-in with them before. One of them could see bonds and another could break and create them. I could already see the future, so I found out. I'm sorry about your face and arm, Emily, but I cannot change the future. About your friend Annabelle, I was not fast enough. She gave a small smile, but Emily just hugged her and said it was okay. Isabel, you need to hunt. Your family is upset. Common, you need to get your strength. Did I mention that the pack accepted you into the tribe? I smiled at her and she nodded and got up off the floor. I guess I need to hunt. I can feel everyone's worry. Oh, and Sam, what do you think about kids? I was confused. What does she mean? What do I think about kids? I love them. Why? She gave a small laugh and smiled at me. Good, because Emily has 3 heartbeats, which is not normal, is it? I guess you're going to have 2 more mouths to feed. She laughed again and I just stood rooted in my place. I'm going to be a father. I looked towards Emily, who was beaming and was rubbing her stomach. We ran downstairs where everyone was waiting for all 3 of us. Sam and Emily have some news for you guys, Isabel sang. The pack looked at us worried. How does everyone feel about having another 2 mouths to feed? Everyone looked at Emily and saw that she was beaming. They all smiled and gave me a high five and Emily a hug. We were all laughing when I sensed 2 vampires. The pack ran outside after me and phased, ready to attack. 2 red-eyed leeches came out of the shadows. We all jumped to attack them when I heard a heartbreaking scream come from in front of us. I stopped and saw that Jared had bitten Isabel. She was now on the ground with a bite mark in her neck. The red-eyed leeches were protecting her. I phased and quickly put the leftover of my jeans on. What did you do to her? The female screamed. Who are you? Why are you here? I yelled back. I wanted to get to Isabel, who wasn't moving. Peter, Charlotte, what happened? Jasper said, running over to Isabel along with the family. He knows them. Isabel protected us from those mutants. Then that one there bit her. The male said while pointing at Jared, who looked like he was in pain. Who are these leeches? Sam, tell the pack to stand down. Peter and Charlotte are Izzy's family. Peter created her, well, saved her from my creator who was going to use her for war, and Charlotte is like a sister to her. Stand down. Isabel is hut. We almost killed her family, oh no. Everyone phased, so did Jared. He looked at me and I shot him a glare. He is going to get what's coming to him soon, but right now Isabel is what's important. Peter, Peter, you can't tell her. She will do something reckless. Charlotte said sadly, I have to tell her, but I don't want to upset Isabel. This will ruin her. She will blame herself. I have to. Charlotte, she was like a sister to her. She needs to know that Angel is dead. She needs to know. Charlotte gave me a glare and sat down on the lounge. I sighed and pulled out my phone. Izzy picked up on the second ring. Hello, Peter. Oh God, she's happy. How can I do this to my only sister? Belle, something's happened. I couldn't hide the sadness in my voice. I know she knows something's up. I sighed and took an dead breath before I told Izzy what happened. Belle, Angel got killed by an army of newborns. Maria found her. Belle, I'm so sorry. I was sorry. If I only got the news faster and got to Angel faster. Eared. Izzy dropped the phone in a gust of wind. Oh no, she's going to break down. A few seconds later I heard a faint sound of Isabel's heartbreaking scream. I hung up and turned to face my wife. Charlotte is going to kill me. I swear, Peter, if she gets hurt I will rip a limb from you. Her voice was harsh. Charlotte thought of Izzy as a sister and a best friend. It'll be okay, Charlotte. She will grieve. She's heartbroken. But she won't do anything reckless. The truth is I really don't know what Isabel will do. I sighed and sat back down on the couch. An hour passed and my phone started to vibrate. Maybe it's Isabel. I looked at the caller and it was Jasper. Why is Jasper calling me? Well, hello Jasper. What is the pleasure for the god of war to ring me? I chuckled and I heard Jasper growl. Is he okay? Why did Jasper growl back at me? Jasper, what's wrong? I looked towards Charlotte. She was worried and confused too. What did you say to her, Peter? Tell me now, he yelled. Oh no, Isabel is upset. Jasper must love her if he is yelling at me like that. I can't say. Why don't you ask her? I'm sorry Jasper, but I can't tell you, it's her business. He growled louder at me. Because she ran away into the werewolves, idiot. Tell me now what Maria did. I heard a crack. He must have broken the screen. Wait, werewolves. I looked at Charlotte again. She was glaring at me and pulling her sleeves up. Oh crap. Her best friend Angel was murdered by Maria. She was like her sister Jasper. Maria killed her because she was associated with Izzy. Look, Charlotte is going to kick my ass because I put her in danger, so we're coming to you. We'll be there as soon as we can. Bye. I hung up. The phone was knocked back into the wall. Did you hear him, Peter? Werewolves. Werewolves, Peter, they will kill her. She hissed at me. Shit. Yes, dear. But Bella is in trouble. We must go. She let go of me and ran out the door. We didn't bother packing, we just left. We needed to get to Forks now. XOXXOXXOX. XOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOXXOX. Charlotte and I were running from Seattle to Forks. I could hear Isabel more and more clearly when we were getting closer. She was weak and in pain, blaming herself for Angel's death, but it wasn't, it was mine. I tried to get to Angel fast enough, but it was too late. I hope Isabel can forgive me. When we got close to where Bella was, I could hear laughter, then a lot of growling. The laughter stopped. I got hit with a strong wet dog smell. Charlotte and I emerged from the shadows and saw mutants of the Children of the Moon. They all started running towards us when one that was closer went for my wife. Before I had time to think, Isabel appeared in front of Charlotte, and the one that was going for Charlotte took a bite into Izzy's shoulder. She screamed a heartbreaking cry of pain and they all stopped attacking. I jumped in front of Izzy and my wife did the same. The one mutant that stopped first phased into a man. This isn't right. What did you do to her? Charlotte screamed at him. WHO are you? Why are you here? He yelled back. He looked at Isabel, who wasn't moving. Oh no. Peter. Charlotte, what happened? Jasper said, running over to me along with the family. Isabel protected us from those mutants, then that one there bit her. I said while pointing to the one that bit her that was now in human form. Sam, tell the pack to stand down. Peter and Charlotte are Izzy's family. Peter created her, well, saved her from my creator who was going to use her for war, and Charlotte is like a sister to her. Stand down, Isabel is hurt, Jasper demanded. So that is Sam, he must be the pack leader of this mutant bunch. You said werewolves, Jasper, not mutants. Look what they did to her. A vampire can't be knocked out and she isn't even breathing. I can't hear what she is thinking. I bet you can't feel what she's feeling either. He looked at me and sighed. Peter, just shut up, okay? She needs to hunt and to rest, and how the bloody hell did she get here so fast? First she was in the lounge room, then next in front of Charlotte, so she hasn't told them her teleportation. Look, okay, I'll tell you, but she needs to hunt, needs blood. She has powers to copy, you know that, right? Well, she came across a vampire who could teleport. Now she was already weak and that took the last of her. Go, good God. I picked Izzy up and carried her into the house. Everyone was following me. I sighed and turned around to face everyone. Will someone please go get her food? You know, a bear or two, please. Almost immediately everyone except Sam and a girl left. Human. Peter, is it? Why did you call Sam and the pack mutants? I sighed as I placed Izzy down on the couch and faced the young woman. Because they are not Children of the Moon, they are much dangerous. Bigger and only come out on a full moon. They stood there frozen. I heard a whimper from Izzy. She wasn't looking so well. Her hair was lighter, skin paler, and her eyes had bruises under them. Her wounds weren't healing, they still stayed open with no sign of being stitched back together. The whole family and the pack came back and told me that they had 4 bears, 5 elk and a mountain lion. I heard Isabel whimper more. As she did, she got more restless. This will not be a good thing. The doctor went to check to see if she is okay, but I held him back. Peter, let him see her, she is in pain. Jasper begged. Wow, he must love her so much, but I can't let anyone near her. Charlotte looked at me and saw the look I had on my face, and she started backing up. Jasper, do you trust us? He looked confused. I sent him a wave of panic and terror. He knows when I panic and feeling terror it won't be good. Peter, what's wrong? Why are you feeling so terrified? Is Izzy okay? I couldn't say anything. I can't take my eyes off Isabel. Protect the human, was all I heard from Charlotte before everyone took the human and crowded her in the corner on the far side of the lounge. Stay back. Don't go near Isabel. Isabel started to thrash harder and her whimpers turned into screams. Maybe I should go to her, calm her down. She's in pain. I can't stand to see her like this, damn it, Jasper. Don't you dare, Jasper. Don't be a hero today. Trust me, okay? I can't risk this, please stay still and quiet, I hissed at him. I got into a crouch the same time Charlotte did. I don't want to hurt her more, but she will be bloodthirsty and want to kill. She will go after her own family. I can't let that happen. I looked at Charlotte as if to say, please stay back. She didn't listen though, just shot me a glare. Angel, please. Izzy whimpered. Angel, don't go. She whimpered again as she turned as to look at me, her arms stretched out. Everyone got a good look at her eyes. They were all black with red flames and angel wings. They gasped and I prepared myself, as did Charlotte. Angel, no, not again. Izzy shot up screaming, illuminating a white glow around her. She froze in mid-air with her head back and her hair out. Crap, Angel must have given her power when she died. Angel has the power of a white light that can destroy any life force, or any object, but that's not just it. She can sense the balance of good and evil within you. When she showed us the power when we first met her, she was looking the exact same as Izzy did now, and her eyes looked the same. We saw her lose control of her power and she told us our crimes and that we should die. Izzy stopped her by knocking her out of it, then biting over her mark. Izzy faced Jasper and the white glow mixed with red. No, she's judging him. His good deeds won't make the bad ones go away. You killed innocents for war, then killed those who you created when they were becoming to their full power. Good deeds won't make up centuries of wrong. You saved lives only to take away the guilt. You have no right to walk this earth. I must take your soul as you did theirs. Everyone looked at her in panic, even Jasper looked terrified. I looked at Charlotte and gave her a quick kiss. I'm sorry, Isabel, forgive me. I tackled her to the ground and bit her neck where I bit her. She looked at me, wouldn't stop apologizing and sobbing. Oh my God, I tried to kill Jasper. I couldn't help it. Why am I damned with this power? All it does is try and kill the people I love. I held her like a parent does with their child and rocked her till she calmed down. Jasper, see. Own here. I waved him over and he ran to me with no hesitation. Take her, she needs you right now. Do not worry, that was Angel's power. Even Angel couldn't control it. Try and get her to eat. I walked back into the house where everyone was looking at Bella and Jasper. I closed the door to at least give them some space. Jasper paused. As I held Isabel in my arms as she played with the collar of my shirt, I realized how fragile she really was. She had no control of her powers, and that scares her. When she realized what she did, she felt worry, terror, self-hate and relief. Worried about her family and relief when she saw we were all right. Terror about losing control again, and self-hate for what she said to me. I'm so sorry, Jasper. I tried to stop but I couldn't. I was so scared that I was going to kill you. I didn't want to kill the one I loved. I love you, Jasper. I love you. I hushed her and rubbed soothing circles on her back. Darlin', I understand. I love you too. Now come and you need to eat and we all go yaw. Some nice bears. Elk and a mountain lion. I said in my southern drawl to cheer her up. She let a little giggle out and that's all I needed. I sent her waves of humor to make her laugh longer. Jasper, that's cheating, don't. She said between laughs. I suddenly felt waves of humor sent at me and we were on the ground laughing. Hey, that's not fair either. I said between laughs back at her. We stopped laughing when we heard 2 clicks and flashes. We looked up and saw Charlotte and Esme with cameras in their hands laughing. I was surprised that they were feeling happy again after what happened before. I felt mischief radiating off her and I raised my eyebrow. Jasper, let's get them. With laughter I gave a devious smile to her and looked at Charlotte while she looked at Esme. They held up theirs hands and started to back away wide-eyed. We tackled them and spread humor through them while tickling them. We heard 2 more clicks and saw 2 more flashes. We looked U.P. and saw a very happy and amused Carlisle and Peter. I saw Bella stick her tongue at them and another click followed by a flash went off. Esme took a picture from next to Isabel when she poked her tongue at Carlisle. Mom, that's not fair. That's cheating. She whined and then huffed while pouting like a child with her arms crossed, which of course was followed by a click and a flash. I was logging at the look she had on her face and she looked at me with raised eyebrows. So ye think that's funny, Major Whitlock? She said in her southern drawl that sounded like mine. Well, darlin', I find it Amison you so adorable. I smiled and she jumped on me, spreading humor through me again. I was too busy laughing when she kissed me that it shocked the hell out of me. Before I could react I saw AF lash in her devious smug smile and run off giggling. Oh, it's on now. Jasper Pav. After last night when the pack went home, Emmett and Rosalie decided that the boys have a bonding day together while the girls went shopping. So now I'm stuck with Emmett, Edward, Peter and Carlisle asking me 21 million questions about how I feel for Isabel. But so many questions of my own are running through my mind, like, do I love Isabel? Does she love me? Would she even want to be with me? So many unanswered questions. It was starting to annoy me. Dude, calm down. I don't want to feel all lovey-dovey and annoyed at the same time. Emmett knocked me out of my train of thought. You don't have to hear his thoughts, Edward and Peter said in unison. You know it's bad enough that Edward's in my head, Peter, at least Izzy has some decency to keep out of my head. I snapped at them. You love her, don't you, son? I sighed and faced my father figure and nodded. I love her very much so. I feel all new emotions of my own and not just everyone else's. I felt fear and jealousy, worry, love. I get tingles when she touches me, and me just for once I'm happy. She sees the real me and I will do anything to make her happy. I sighed while Peter laughed. I raised an eyebrow wondering if he has lost his mind. And why the friggin' hell is this funny? No, Jasper, I haven't lost my mind. But you on the other hand. Me, what the hell does he mean, me? I looked at him confused and he sighed. Jasper, look at you, you're in love. But not just any kind of love, madly irrevocably in love, if that's the saying. I get the words mixed up. Jasper, you're driving me nuts. Do I love Isabel? Does she love me? Would she even want to be with me? Look at yourself, you're blinded. She loves you, man, and I should know. I can hear everything she is thinking, feeling, and see her past if she remembers. She loves you. She even said it to you, man. Jesus Christ, Jasper, you're the god of war and you're shielding away your feelings to something I know won't happen. Stop thinking that she won't want you when she does. I have never seen her and you so happy in years. She is happy that she's got her big brother back. She's happy that she as a mother and father figure she has always wanted, but mostly she is happy that she has found love, her true love. I was stunned. She really does love me. Is Peter right though? I can't feel Bella's emotions as much now, only when she puts her shield down, and that was last night. I felt pure joy off her, that's it though. What did you feel beyond that, Jasper, under the joy? Grief, sadness, happiness, love. She loves me. Yes, Jasper, she love you, you idiot. Good God, man, you know having conversations with yourself is a sign of insanity. Peter's annoying laugh echoed off the trees. I playfully growled at him and tackled him. Emmett, seeing that we were wrestling, and of course Emmett being Emmett, he had to join in the fun. I could hear Edward and Carlisle laughing as I faintly heard and saw a click and a flash from a small camera in Carlisle's hands. After a few more minuets, Edward joined in as Carlisle took more photos and laughing. I didn't even realize his phone rung until I heard a gasp and felt his shock. I stopped wrestling along with my brothers. I tuned into the conversation and found a very worried Esme. Carlisle, there's someone coming for Isabel. Whoever it is isn't happy. Alice saw a male with blood-red eyes. Then she saw Isabel standing in a clearing screaming at something. Then everything went black. Carlisle. She can't see Isabel. Her future disappeared. I tensed and I saw that Peter did too. I felt 2 hands around my waist to hold me on my spot. I didn't realize I was growling. Esme dear, calm down, we're on our way. Is Isabel okay? The panic in his voice was evident. All I heard was silence on the other end of the phone. She's gone, Carlisle. As soon as she saw the vision along with Alice, she tore out of the house. We can't find her. Alice can't see her, she keeps changing her mind. Carlisle told her we will be there soon. No. I started to thrash against Emmett, trying to get out of his grip. I need to find Isabel. Why is Emmett so calm about this? His sister is in danger and he is so calm about it. Emmett, your sister is in danger. Didn't you hear what Esme said? Her future disappeared. His grip loosed as his shock ceased and his panic and pain kicked in. Jasper, I know, okay. I know. I'm trying not to think about losing my only little sister. We need to go, Jasper. I nodded and all 5 of us ran towards home. Bella, Pav, Alice, Rosalie, Esme, Charlotte and I were arriving home from shopping. Oh, how I hate shopping. When Alice and I had a vision. I could see everything that was going to happen, and what I saw I didn't like. Who was coming for me? Vision. There was a tall, lanky guy with black hair but not as tall as Jasper running into a clearing screaming my name. He looked angry, his blood-red eyes glistening with sadness and vengeance. Isabel. She's dead because of you. Because of you. He yelled the last part at me. Who did I kill? I have never seen this vampire before. I couldn't read his mind, all I could hear was vengeance. She killed her, must kill her. Who the hell are you? I yelled at him. He didn't answer, just attacked me. Vision end. I heard a gasp from beside me and was pulled out of my vision. I know where that clearing is, it's just north of here. I saw Alice's normally happy face turn into shock and worry. I can't let my family get hurt. Without thinking I ran off, covering my scent as I went. I could hear Alice screaming my name for me to come back, but I just ignored her. Before I knew it, I was in the clearing waiting. I heard footsteps approaching from the direction of where the strange vampire that wants to kill me in my vision. When he ran out of the forest, I got a better look at him. He looks familiar, but who was he? He was skinny and lanky but got some muscle features. His black hair was SMO. Oath at the front with blonde in the fringe and spiky at the back. The shotgun effect. How odd. His clothes were tattered and I could see something glistening around his neck, a chain, but I couldn't see the pendant. His blood-red eyes were glistening with sadness and vengeance, just like my vision. He was a newborn. Crap. Isabel. She's dead because of you. Because of you. He yelled the last part at me. Who the fuck is he on about? Who the hell are you? I yelled back at him. He didn't answer, just attacked me like I foresaw. Before he could get a hold of me, I ripped both his arms off and held him to the ground. He didn't scream or fight, he just looked at me with pleading gold eyes, what they were just red. Who are you? Why did you attack me for something I don't know what the hell you're on about? You better give me a straight answer, because right now I'm grieving for my lost friend and I will tear your other limbs off. He kicked me hard in the chest and I went flying across the field. I heard my family scream, Bella. I have no idea why they call me by nicknames, but hey, I threw my shield out so they couldn't get on the field. This is my fight. I got up and saw that the boy's arms were attached to him again and his eyes were red. I felt the tingle I get when I absorb a power. He must have a power. I charged at him when I saw the pendant that was attached to the chain around his neck. Angel wings, angel wings. Angel. I stopped and ended up tripping and went flying over him into a tree. Great, I can't get rid of this clumsiness. The next thing I knew, he was pinning me against the tree, ready to rip my head off. I lowered my shield and saw Jasper and Emmett throw him off me, only to rip his arms and legs off. I looked at the necklace I ripped off him when the boys grabbed him. Wait, these aren't angels, hers had emeralds, not sapphires. My head shot up when I heard his small laugh. He had a smile on his face as Jasper went to rip his head off. Soon, my angel, I'll be WITHU. As soon as those words reached my ears, realization kicked in. The hair, the voice, the features, the gunpowder and musk scent. Only one name came up. Daniel. No. I screamed and all heads turned my way. I ran up to Jasper and grabbed him by the neck. The only people I would put before my mate and my brother was Angel and the person who was Angel's mate. Did I just call Jasper my mate? I didn't realize I was almost crushing Jasper's neck until I heard a strangled cry from him. I immediately dropped him and went to Danny. Why didn't you tell me? Why? You could have been killed, by the god of war of all people. I thought Maria would have told you how dangerous he was, and I am disappointed at you. You tried to kill yourself after Angel told you not to. I broke down and started sobbing. I killed Angel and I almost let her mate get killed. I really am a monster. No, hush, don't cry, little Belle, it was my fault. I was asking for death. I just miss my Angel. Please don't cry, please. Angel's promised me to look after you. You know, if she was here and I made you cry, she would have my head on a stick. He chuckled while he cradled me in his arms. Daniel, get your hands off her. Peter and Charlotte hissed at him in unison. I felt him tense underneath me. I hissed at them and then everyone gasped. Izzy, your eyes are red again. Charlotte said worriedly. That's my power. How could you forget that? Charlotte and little Belle has it too now. So I suggest from now on try not to piss her off or she will gain her newborn year back. They hissed and growled at him as he laughed. Silence. Danny is Angel's mate. No harm will become of him. He is one of my best friends and I took him away from that monster. She wanted him for war and I ended up scarred to save his life. Do you understand? I almost growled at them. They nodded. I stood up with Daniel and faced him. What happened to her, Daniel? I need to know. His smile faded and his eyes glistened with tears that will never fall. Daniel's paw for the story just for now. Little Belle, I don't want to hurt you more. She was sitting in front of me looking pained. I can't tell her she will get herself killed. Please, Daniel, I need to know. Please. I groaned. She had to beg. All right, but please don't go after Maria. She nodded, so I continued. I was hunting about a mile away from Angel. I asked if she wanted to see. But she said she went while I was out. I was on my way home when I crossed another vampire's scent that I didn't realize, musk and pepper. It was weird, it was leading towards the cabin. I have never come across a scent like that, so I started to panic. I was only half a mile from home when I smelt the most terrifying scent ever, tobacco and leather, Maria's scent. I started running faster and faster till I saw them. There were 20 newborns surrounding our home. My vision went red and I walked up to them drooling venom. I saw Maria holding Angel by the neck. She was laughing at me. I went to attack but Angel said no. Ah well, hello Daniel. I came to visit Angel her and was very surprised to smell you all over the place. She smiled at me then growled. What do you want with us? I spat at her and she laughed. I don't want you or your mate, but Isabel. Now because your wife here won't cooperate she will be killed, you will be forced to watch. I growled when 4 newborns held me down while Maria tore her apart slowly. Don't kill yourself, Danny. Run to Isabel, look after her, promise me. She yelled at me. I sobbed out an I promise, and an I love you. Maria was laughing now and saying how pathetic we were. Before I knew it, Angel was ripped apart faster and thrown into the fire. After it was put out, I grabbed her necklace and wedding ring and ran straight here. I can never RGET Maria's last words before I lost all my restraint to breakdown. Everyone gasped and Belle just sat there with a blank look. What did she say? She whispered even low enough for a vampire to strain to hear. Tell Isabel that she's next. Bella Pav. I swear that I will kill Maria if it's the last thing I will ever do, not just for killing Angel but for taking Jasper's humanity away and making him suffer. I growled and stood up. I didn't know what else to do. I can't just go after her, they won't allow me to. Not like they will be able to stop me, but I can't leave my family and I know if I went they would follow me. I can't risk them like that. Belly Bean, are you alright? My brother snapped me out of my thoughts. I smiled at him and nodded. Shut up, Peter, if you say a word I will kill you. Isabel, you know she will kill you, right? Over my pile of ashes, just don't say anything, okay? He sighed and looked at me. Izzy, I'm worried about you. You have no emotion and in all that's running tea. Hurrow, your thoughts is revenge and pain. Shut up, okay? I'm perfectly fine, so shut up. I growled at him and he stepped back. I ran off towards the waterfall while telling Peter to keep everyone away from me until I'm ready. I just sat there staring at the stars until I heard faint footsteps coming from the south. I tensed and got ready in an attacking stance. Izzy, are you really okay? I sighed. ND relaxed when I saw Jasper come out of the tree line. No, I'm not okay, Jasper. I'm far from okay. I find out that my friend got killed because of me. my best friend tried to get himself killed because of that. But most of all I'm ashamed that I hurt you, Jasper. I love you so much and I hurt you. I started sobbing while Jasper pulled me into his arms. Jasper, Pav. She said she loves me. She really loves me. I pulled her into my arms when she started crying. I didn't want her to be hurt. None of this is her fault. Shish, darlin', I'm not hurt. It's all right, you were protecting your friend, I understand. Shish, I love you too. I sat up, pulling her into my lap and rocking her backwards and forwards. Oh God, I love this woman, she's everything to me. I couldn't help but feel the electric currents flowing through me every time I ran my fingers through her hair. She was my soulmate and I will wait till the end of days for her if I have to. Jasper, I'll wait for you too. I love you, Jasper, and I want you to be my mate. I stopped moving and looked at her smiling face. I love you, Isabel. I will gladly be your mate. I kissed the top of her head and smiled. Let's go home, darlin', time to face the family, she groaned, and I laughed. I picked up her small frame and carried her all the way back to the house to see a very happy family and a very protective Emmett and Peter. Oh shit, Alice, Pav. After tea, he whole fight and breaking down thing with Daniel and Isabel, we decided to head back home and know Daniel more. I walked over to where Jasper was standing. He was looking in the direction Izzy ran off in. Jasper, are you coming? I whispered to him. Alice, go back without me. I'm going to find Isabel. With that he ran off after his beloved. I ran home after my family to find Peter and Emmett arguing with Daniel. Great, can't get any peace and quiet anywhere. I was about to say something when I went into a vision. Vision. Izzy, are you really okay? Jasper was walking out of the tree line as Izzy relaxed. He went to lie next to her on the grass. No, I'm not okay, Jasper. I'm far from okay. I find out that my friend got killed because of me. My best friend tried to get himself killed because of that. But most of all I'm ashamed that I hurt you, Jasper. I love you so much and I hurt you. Isabel started crying and Jasper pulled her into his arms, smiling but looking worried too. Shish, darlin', I'm not hurt. It's all right, you were protecting your friend, I understand. Shish, I love you too. Jasper moved so he was sitting up and pulled Isabel into his lap to rock her. Jasper, I'll wait for you too. I love you, Jasper, and I want you to be my mate. Isabel looked at Jasper that stopped all movement. I love you, Isabel. I will gladly be your mate. He kissed her forehead and smiled. Let's go home, darlin', time to face the family. Vision end. I squealed and the whole family were looking at me. I sighed and started dancing towards Peter and Emmett. I wouldn't be yelling at him. Jasper and Belle are mates now. I sung and they both looked at me with shock on their faces. I skipped over to Edward, who was sitting on the couch trying not to laugh. You're just laughing because you know the why will attack Jasper about. Hurt my little sister and I'll rip you to shreds speech. I huffed and he fell off the couch laughing. You know she is your little sister too. I suggest that you take Advin. TAGE of Jasper's new and improved feelings. He's easier to scare now. I smiled at my husband, who shook his head and my smile faded. Spoil sport, I huffed. Emmett, Pav. After Alice came out of her vision, she told us that Jasper and Belly Bean were mates now. I ran outside with my family, who were looking happy, while Peter and I were in the protective brother mode. 4 seconds. Alice sung while dancing out to the yard. True to her word. Wait, Alice is always right. Jasper emerged from the tree line with Belly Bean in his arms, bridal style. Jasper's face had shock and worry written over his face, while my Belly Bean was looking up at him in awe and love. Oh shit, indeed, brother. I whipped my head around to Peter, who was now smiling at Jasper. How does he know what he's thinking? Oh reet. He can read only Jasper's mind because of Jasper's venom. I chuckled at my realization. I faced Jasper, that was still holding Belly Bean, and chuckled, sending him waves of mischief and evil. I have a plan. I won't break them up. If my little sister is happy, then that's great. But Jasper will learn the hurt my little sister and I'll rip you to shreds speech. I faced Peter again and smiled and pointed to Jasper, then the river. Jasper, you can put me down now. I looked towards Belly Bean, who was smiling innocently at Jasper, then whipped her head around to me and Peter, giving us the I know what you're up to, so behave. Look. I couldn't help but smile innocently but sheepishly at her. She stepped away from Jasper and Peter took off and grabbed my brother and pulled him towards the river. Peter, Pav. 4 seconds. The little pixie sung while dancing out to the yard. Charlotte was looking at me in warning. I knew if I hurt Izzy's feelings she would kill me and ban me from the bedroom. I got into all protective brother mode as I stood next to Emmett. I knew Izzy could see through my fake protectiveness at the moment because she could read my mind of how happy I am about her and Jasper. Oh shish. I heard Jasper think and I couldn't help but be cocky to him. Oh shit indeed brother. I was smiling when Emmett whipped his head around to look at me. He chuckled and faced Jasper again, grinning evilly. Oh god, why is Emmett radiating evil and mischief? So that's why he is chuckling darkly. Peter, Emmett wants to take Jasper to the river for a talk. He is going to try and get you to go as soon as Izzy said that, Emmett faced me and pointed to Jasper, then the river. You two better behave yourselves or I will be telling Rosalie and Charlotte, and I know what your punishment is. Peter, it's not just being banned from the bedroom, it's that plus she won't be wearing that little outfit you like on her for a year, and for God's sakes Peter, stop thinking about it when you do crap. Okay, take it easy Peter. You don't want to hurt your little sister's hubby even if he's the god of war. Peter, let me go. Jasper growled at me. Calm down Jasper, sheesh. We just want to talk to you about our little sister. I started laughing at Jasper's face of shock and worry. We're not going to hurt you bro, but we will if you hurt her in any way. I started laughing at Emmett. God, he's funny. Emmett, you already gave me your blessing to date her. I stopped laughing and put my serious face on. Maybe I could tackle him and knock it into him. That would be funny. But you haven't asked me, I said to him, and he sighed. Or me, I'm her big brother too. I whipped my head around to a serious-looking Daniel. Why is he here? Little Belle sent me. I nodded and faced Jasper. Oh, and Peter. Bella said she warned you about what she said and told Charlotte. I whipped my head around to Daniel again in shock. Fuck. It was just a thought. Damn it Isabel, it was just a bloody thought. Sorry Peter, I did warn you. Yeah, smartass. Now look here Jasper, we have some ground rules. 1. No touching little Belle around us, Daniel said quite brotherly. 2. No nasty when we're in the house. I don't want to hear my sister scream, that's just gross man. Of course Emmett had to say the same thing Izzy did. And 3. If you ever hurt her, well let's just say that it won't be pretty. I gave him a shit-eating grin that he hates and started laughing. Daniel paused. As Jasper and Peter wrestled, Emmett and I made a bet. Thusa. ND on Jasper. I grinned to Emmett who was still watching them. As Peter had a good hold on Jasper he took me up on my bet. 5,000 on Peter. He got trained by the best. He smiled. We watched him wrestle for about an hour. Both of them had times where they were neck and neck. Peter lunged for Jasper but collided with him in mid-air, making a big cracking noise like two boulders smashing. As soon as Peter had Jasper in a headlock and his arm twisted back, we heard a scream from the main house. The boys stopped mucking around and looked towards the house with a look of terror, but Peter's face was getting worried and his eyes darker by the second. I had a bad feeling about this. Something is not right. I looked towards Jasper that was now on his knees clutching his head and chest. What is it Jasper? What can you feel? I asked. I only know one person who could knock any empath to the ground with just one burst of emotion, and it's not good. Fear, worry, anger, love, protectiveness, and the main ones are fear, protectiveness, and immense anger. This doesn't feel right. I felt that tingly feeling when I change into a newborn again. I looked at Peter who was now growling towards the direction of the house. Isabel, no. He roared and took off in the direction he was looking at. I quickly overtook him and found little Belle in the backyard looking absolutely livid. She was in a protective stance in front of the mother while Edward, the doc, and Charlotte was standing in front of the pixie and blonde. I tried to run over to little Belle with Peter but her shield was up covering the three of them. I ran and stood next to Emmett and Peter. How dare you try to hurt my mother? She screamed to the dark-haired newborn. Jasper was trying to break through the invisible barrier and pleading with Isabel to let him in. Why is the mother smiling? Because Isabel called her mom. Edward said to me like it was the obvious thing in the world. Right. Attitude much Eddie. I turned to face the newborn and Isabel. The mother was running fast over to where we were, terrified. While the doc took her into his arms, she asked her what happened. I was gardening then that newborn came up behind me and almost ripped my head off. He whispered, "Tell that little witch that this is a warning from my mistress." His teeth were a centimeter away from my neck, and that's when Isabel roared from the inside and ripped him off me. "Then you all came, but I'm confused who was his mistress," she said while 4 of us tensed and looked at little Belle. "This is a warning, witch. My mistress wants her revenge." He spat at her, but she spat venom at him and started walking towards us. "Foolish girl, she already stole 2 people from you. His mate and that precious child of yours. I had fun with her. But now your family is in trouble, she's coming for you." He laughed at her. "Child, he doesn't mean." "Oh yes he does. Oh shit, he's dead." Thunder and storm clouds raided the sky with loud cracking noises. As the wind started to pick up, I looked towards little Belle and her face was a mask, but her eyes told me everything, rage and guilt. He killed her daughter. Not her blood daughter, but her daughter nonetheless. She found the girl in the forest when she was a newborn. She was only 12. "Paige, she's dead," Charlotte whispered in disbelief. "Boy, what's your name?" Peter yelled. "Why should I tell a traitor?" He spat back. "Oh, this boy is going to die. Is your year up?" he sung with an evil smug look. The boy looked terrified, but he nodded. "Well, your mistress sent you here on a death wish. You obviously haven't met my sister Isabel, the one who was destined. Obviously she told you that tale." His smug look getting even smugger, if that's possible. Isabel was looking at us and her eyes flashed white and everything froze. There was no sound and no movement for miles away. Even the hail is frozen in mid-air. She turned and faced the boy and spoke. "You killed my daughter. Your mistress ordered the kill for my best friend. I will spare your life for now to return to your mistress, but when I see you next I will kill you painfully." Her voice was dark and hoarse, unlike her UAL ocean and summer breeze bell-like voice. She turned her back to him and walked our way, but the kid doesn't listen. He smiled, then pounced on her back while biting her. "I swear the kid has a death wish." Her eyes and face turned livid while she kicked him off her, growling. "I won't kill you, boy, but I will give you a fate worse than death." She placed her hand over his eyes and hummed a soft tune to herself. What is she doing? Is this a power we don't know about? What is worse than death? She stopped humming and stood up, smiling that looked like a grimace. What did she do? I looked back to the boy and he had a confused look on his face. "Where am I? Who am I? What am I? Who are you?" he asked to little Belle, whose smile grew wider. I gasped. She wiped his mind of everything, a fate worse then death is walking this earth with no clue who you are. "My name is Isabel McCarty. You are a vampire and you are on the Cullens territory. Your maker is in Houston, Texas. You better leave now, child, or it's a fight to the death," she said in a sickly sweet voice and pointed to the south. "Do not hunt on our territory until you're out of Washington. If you do I will send the wolves to your death." She smiled again and the boy took off terrified. "Esme, are you okay? Is anyone hurt?" she asked in a worried tone. I had to laugh. God, this girl has so many mood swings. Goes from happy to mad, then to terrifying, then worried. "I'm fine, dear. What is he talking about? Who is coming for us?" Izzy sighed and looked at me, Jasper, Peter and Charlotte. "She's not coming for you guys, she's coming for me." Her voice was flat and cold. "Who, dear?" I was worried of the outcome. I know who is coming now, and so does everyone else who was under her command. It's her death. The one person who took away most of our lives. And that killed my best friend and daughter. Her voice was still flat and cold as she looked to the west. "I'm sorry I got you hurt, Esme," she sighed and looked at the mother figure. Before I could speak, Esme ran up and hugged her tightly, as did the doc. "Thank you for saving her, Izzy." He kissed her forehead and stepped back with the rest of us and Esme in tow. "Thank you, Carlisle," she smiled. "Izzy, who is coming for you?" She looked at the god of war with smoldering eyes and tensed. "It is Bella Pav." I was in the lounge listening to Alice and Charlotte chatter on why. La Rosalie was reading a fashion magazine, Edward and Carlisle in his study chatting too, and Esme in the garden. The boys were wrestling again and I sighed, which caused 3 sets of golden eyes look at me. Japper and Peter are wrestling while Emmett and Danny are betting again. They all rolled their eyes and went back to what they were doing. I suddenly felt a shift in the atmosphere. I faintly had a gasp and a wave of worry and terror shoot through me from outside. I only had one thought after that: Esme's in danger. I let out a scream of pain and anger and teleported out to where Esme was in that monster's favorite pet's arms with his teeth on her neck. I growled and got into a protective stance between them. I am going to kill him even if I die. I hardly even realized when the rest of my family came to join me and when Peter yelled my name in the distance followed by them joining us. I knew Daniel, Peter and Jasper tried to get to me but I put my shield up. This is my fight, not theirs. Isabel let me in. Jasper help. I didn't want to listen to anyone anymore. I looked towards him again with anger, and I felt Daniel's power kick in and smiled. How dare you try to hurt my mother? I screamed at him. I felt pressure on my shield and was slightly aware of Jasper pleading to me, pleading to let him in. But I will kill this stupid fool who came here on a death wish. I looked quickly through someone's mind to see Carlisle with a heartbreaking look that I never want to see on his face. I frowned and whispered to Esme. Esme, run. Run as fast as you can to Carlisle and do it now. I didn't mean for it to sound so cold and lifeless, but I didn't want her hurt. I relaxed slightly when I heard her whispering to the others with what happened. I growled GHTLY towards the bastard who tried to kill my mother for his mistress's revenge. This is a warning witch, my mistress wants her revenge. He spat at me. I glared at him while I spat the mouthful of venom I had at him. And I started walking towards my family when the bastard spoke. Foolish girl, she already stole 2 people from you. His mate, he pointed to Daniel, and that precious child of yours. I had fun with her. But now your family is in trouble, she's coming for you. He laughed at me. I gasped. He killed my precious Paige. She was only 12. I wiped my emotions off my face, and let the thunder and storm clouds raid the sky with loud cracking noises, as the wind started to pick up. I felt smug come from the bastard, disbelief from Peter, Charlotte and Daniel with confusion from my family. Paige, she's dead, Charlotte whispered with disbelief of losing her godchild. Boy, what's your name? Peter yelled in rage. Why should I tell a traitor? He spat back to Peter. Wow, does he really have a death wish? I chuckled inwardly. Is your year up? He sung back evilly. The bastard looked terrified while he nodded. Well, your mistress sent you here on a death wish. You obviously haven't met my sister Isabel, the one who was destined. Obviously she told you that tale. I was looking at Peter now, whom was looking pretty smug with himself. My rage kicked in again after the shock of my Paige worn off. He killed her. That ass killed her. I felt everything tingle as my head throbbed and everything froze. There was no sound and no movement for miles away. Even the hail that I just formed was frozen in mid-air. I faced Troy and yelled at him. You killed my daughter. Your mistress ordered the kill for my best friend. I will spare your life for now to return to your mistress with a warning. But when I see you next, I will kill you painfully. My voice sounded abnormal to me, so cold and hoarse. I turned my back to him and walked to my family when he pounced on me and bit my shoulder. I growled in pain and anger while kicking him off me. I stalked towards him while talking. I won't kill you, boy, but I will give you a fate worse than death. I placed my hand over his eyes while paralyzing him. I hummed a tune Mother used to sing to me while I slept. I stole all his memories and replaced them with a whole lot of nothingness. I stopped humming and stood up with a grimace. The boy had a confused look on his face. I felt smug and disgusted. I had all his memories, all the torture he did to children and women in front of the men, the fighting, the plans, everything. I wanted to scream in pain, but I need to focus. Where am I? Who am I? What am I? Who are you? He asked to me. My smile grew wider. I heard everyone gasp in shock and I couldn't help but let a little chuckle out. My name is Isabel McCarty. You are a vampire and you are on the Cullens territory. Your maker is in Houston, Texas. You better leave now, child, or it's a fight to the death. I said in my sickly sweet southern voice and pointing to the south. Do not hunt on our territory until you're out of Washington. If you do, I will send the wolves to your death. I smiled when he took off running scared. Esme, are you okay? Is anyone hurt? I asked in a worriedly. I had to laugh, while Daniel laughed his head off. I'm fine, dear. What is he talking about? Who is coming for us? I sighed and looked at Jasper, Peter, Charlotte and Daniel. She's not coming for you guys, she's coming for me. My voice was flat and cold again. Who, dear? Waves of worry and realization hit me from everyone when Daniel asked the question. The one person who took away most of our lives, and that killed my best friend and daughter. My voice was still flat and cold. I looked to the west and felt worried. She will come soon and I know it. I'm sorry I got you hurt, Esme. I sighed and looked at my new mother. Before I could speak, Esme ran up and hugged me tightly, then followed by Carlisle. Thank you for saving her, Izzy. He kissed my forehead and stepped back with the rest of the family with Esme in tow. You're my daughter. I was so worried about you. Thank you, Carlisle. I smiled towards him. Izzy, who is coming for you? I looked towards Jasper with sadness flooding me. It's Maria. I sighed while everyone growled. And that was her pet. I couldn't take the worry anymore. I pushed peek and love out to everyone and smiled at Esme. Hey Mom, I know I haven't been here for long, but how about you come and help me renovate my house? I'm sure I need new furniture and a garden. I sure love your roses and honeysuckle. Esme beamed at me while everyone laughed. I waved the girls to follow me while I ran towards my rarely used house. I stopped at the forest edge to wait for my sisters and mother. I couldn't help but smile when they all gasped and their mouths dropped. Now Rose, my car and bike are in the garage. I think they need some tinkering. Alice, my room is in the tower, I guess. I need an Alice touch to my closet, and Esme, my garden is out back. They squealed while running off into different directions. I waited for at least a second before they squealed again. OMC Bella, your garage is awesome. Of course, Rose. OMC is ILOOOOVE, your closet. I chuckled at Alice and went to see why Esme hasn't said anything. When I reached the back, I smiled as Esme stood in the mid. Love my garden, smiling like a cat that caught the canary. So I presume you like what I have done. I planted freesia and lilacs for me, rose and carnation trees for Rose, lavender plants for Alice, mint spruces for Edward, cinnamon for Carlisle, a pine tree for Emmett, vanilla pods for you, burnt wood for Peter, basil shrubs for Charlotte, and charcoal for Daniel. This is our family garden. ICA.NT believe that I said Daniel's scent with a straight face. He literally smells like charcoal. I have no clue how Angel could stand it. Esme was smiling at me in happiness and awe until she saw the wild flowers and sunflowers in the far corner. Who is the wild flowers and sunflowers for? She asked with a small smile on her lips. I can't deny my mother, no matter how much it would hurt. The sunflowers were for my daughter Paige. She smelled like sunflowers and chocolate. The wild flowers are for Angel, which was her scent, just wildflower. And this is for you, Esme. I pulled out a bottle of rainwater, pine and honey. She looked at me confused and I told her to smell it. Once she did, she gasped. What is this, Isabel? It smells wonderful. I looked up at her and smiled. I was hoping she would like it. This is something that she could keep of her lost son. I'm sorry I looked in your past, Esme, but this is what Jackson would smell like when he grew up. I was hoping you would like it. Please, Dawn. Be upset. I just wanted to give you something of your son back. I said in a soft voice and Esme gasped. You're saying this is what my little boy would smell like? I nodded and she started dry sob. Bing, I looked up in alarm to see her cradling the bottle in her arms. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you so much, my daughter. I have a little part of my son back with me and I can't be more happier. I went to hug her while we just sat in the garden with my arms around her looking at the sunset. It's getting dark, was the last thought before a memory washed over me. I was running in the forest until I fell down. It's getting dark. And I was crying on the forest floor. I was screaming out in pain and heartache. Emmett, why? My brother. Why my brother? A sharp pain ripped through me and I screamed out in pain again. I remembered this night. It was the night I had a fight with father and mother. I was screaming at the sky for everything, for taking my Emmy bear, my mother's happiness, my father's health and my family. I fell silent with just sobs racking my body in pain from the cold and heartache. My Emmy bear, my protector from the dark. Why? Why him and not me? Why did he have to leave me? I need my big brother. Bella, honey, you okay? I nodded towards my mother figure and smiled. Hey Mom, how about we live in my house? We got more rooms so Daniel can live with us and when anyone comes to visit. Plus there's already an empty library, and another music and art studio. I smiled at her and she beamed in return. We can keep the other house if you and Carlisle need a break, Plus I do know that this house needs a mother's touch. I knew I had her then when I heard her, Alice and Rosalie squeal in delight. I'll go home and tell Carlisle and the boys to start packing up. Oh, Alice, I need you and Rosalie to go get some paints and working material, and I need. She mumbled off after that, and I sighed. I finally brought some happiness instead of destruction. I got up and head towards my room when I heard Alice and Rosalie leave, singing an octave higher to Womanizer. When I got to my room, I noticed half my clothes were gone and that my guitar was next to my drums and keyboard, thank God. I started strumming to a new beat and I found it pretty good too, like a melody. Soon enough I started adding words, but I didn't know what I was singing about. I was stuck. No words could come to my mind. What's wrong with me? I never had a problem before. I sighed and started playing it on my keyboard. It sounded better, sounded more magical. God, Bell need to grow up, huh? This is a crazy world. These can be lonely days. It's hard to know who's on your side. Most of the time, who can you really trust? Who do you really know? Is there anybody out there who can make you feel less unknown? Sometimes you just can't make it on your own. If you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll always be your friend. When you need some shelter from the rain, when you need a healer for your pain, I will be there time and time again. When you need someone to love you, here I am. Of course this is for Jasper. I'm surprised that I am writing this. But then again, I have never been in love before. If you have broken dreams, just lay them all on me. I'll be the one who understands. So take my hand. If there is emptiness, you know I'll do my best to fill you up with all the love that I can show someone. I promise you you'll never walk alone. Well, if you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, well, I'll always be your friend. When you need some shelter from the rain, when you need a healer for your pain, I will be there time and time again. When you need someone to love you, here I am. Ooh. I just smiled to myself as I finished my song off. Oh God, how I love my Jasper. That sounded so right, my Jasper. Everybody needs somebody who they can pour their heart and soul into. Well, if you need a place where you can run, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll always be your friend. When you need a shelter from the rain, when you need a healer for your pain, I will be there time and time again. When you need someone to love you, here I am, here I am. When I finished my song, I heard people clapping. I raised my head in alarm and saw my whole family there with tears in their eyes that would never fall. I raised my eyebrows with curiosity and Jasper smiled. You were projecting, darlin'. I looked down embarrassed. I hardly ever project. I saw the pain in Daniel's eyes. He misses her, his angel. His eyes cast downwards when he saw I was still staring at him. He never liked showing his pain. Daniel, I'm sorry. He looked up, his eyes were red. He's angry at himself. He couldn't have done anything. Can't he see that? It was my fault. I hissed and everyone looked at me. My keyboard crushed to dust under my fingers. Fuck this, I need to smack some sense into his stupid, thick, stubborn head of his. I stood up, panting heavily, my eyes bright red with rage. Emmett, Edward and Carlisle pulled their mates behind them. While everyone looking at Jasper that was radiating fear, Charlotte and Peter took a defensive crouch in front of him and hissed at me. Bloody hell. Peter, your brain goin' nuts to step aside, take my sister and love her with you. I all but hissed at him. His eyes got wide and looked to Daniel and saw his eyes were red too. Daniel, what have you done? What are you thinking? Peter asked and my family turned to him. He was standing there in total defeat. Please, Isabel, end it. I can't live without my mate anymore. I just need to be with her, please, Isabel, for me. Kill me. His voice was cold and empty. No, I whispered back. His head snapped up and he snarled right at me. Kill me, Isabel. Kill me, he screamed. Pain ripped through me. My family looked at me in shock. I went into war mode. I was never in a war but my own. Running from Maria after killing her mate as well as Victoria, and then running from the Volturi. I can't kill my brother, but I can do something more, something better for him than death. Wipe his memories of Angel away. Isabel, no. Don't, it will hurt him beyond belief. Peter always knew right. What about what you did for the Cullens? In the heart, Isabel, you can fix it that way. His voice was hurt. I forgot about that. I nodded and looked at Daniel in the eyes. I know it won't work the normal way. I placed my forehead on his and took a deep breath, as everything went silent again. You know you're a joy, kill Daniel. Maybe I should let Emmett whoop your butt. I heard my brought her chuckle under his breath but then quickly silenced. I take away your pain, Daniel. I can't look in your eyes anymore and not feel guilt. I take yours and pass into my own. That is at least I can do for you. I sighed and felt all the pain and grief that he has felt from the loss of Angel. I took another breath and replaced the pain with a content familial love and let his hands go and stepped back. Why, Isabel? He whispered. Because you're my brother. I sighed and sat on my bed. So much pain, maybe I should release the pain out. I saw my whole family leave but Jasper. I should really spend some time with my brother. I'm hurting this family too much. You know, darlin', I do love your voice. I must say I must have done something right to deserve such an angel like you. I love you, Miss Isabel. He whispered his southern drawl in my ear. I could feel him smiling against my skin as he kissed the base of my throat. I giggled as he kept kissing my neck along my collarbone and back up to my jaw. My, is Mr. Whitlock asking for something? I sung to him in my own southern drawl. I felt him smile against my neck again, then felt his cool breath against my ear as he whispered something I thought I would never hear. My sweet Isabel. Bella Pav. My sweet Isabel. For so long I have waited for someone like you and now I finally do. I love you so much, Isa, and I can't imagine my life without you. He got on one knee and I couldn't hold back a gasp. How did he pull this over me? Isabel Marie McCarty, will you do the honor of becoming my wife? He pulled out a tattered Lou King velvet box from his pocket and opened it. I was shocked. This was his mother's ring passed down to generation. It was beautiful. It was a simple gold band with webs of diamonds and rubies surrounding a simple jasper stone in the middle. I looked at Jasper that was waiting patiently and I nodded too stunned to say a word. Is that a yes? He smiled wider and I squealed in delight. Of course it is yes, Jasper. I wouldn't want anything more than to marry my perfectly imperfect prince. I kissed him passionately as he placed the ring on my finger. Now shall we go and tell Peter and Emmett? I giggled as I watched him pale a few more shades. He gulped but nodded and put on a brave face. My dear god of war is nervous. I swear if Jasper is doing something to her I'd rip off his hands. Peter won't even have a chance. Jasper Pav. There were 3 things in my whole life that made me this happy. First was the day I became major in the Confederate Army. Second is the day I first laid eyes on Isabel, and third was today, the day Isabella said yes to me. As we walked down the stairs I could feel the confusion and the frustration roll of the family. I looked at Isabel, who had an innocent smile on her face as we reached the stairs. She kept this a surprise for everyone. Why can't I see anything, Belle? Alice huffed in frustration and my darling fiancé laughed with a smile and replied. Me and Jasper have something to tell you all. She looked at me with love and I couldn't help but smile at her and face my doom. I asked Isabel to marry me and she said yes. I said and I saw everyone smile or sq. Yule in Alice and Charlotte's case, but Peter and Emmett scowl in disapproval. I gulped and looked at my fiancé in worry, who immediately sent them a look, and I swear if looks could kill my brothers would be dead 10 times over by now. Peter Pav. I knew something was different when Alice started huffing and that I could hear nothing from Isabella's room or both hers and Jasper's mind. She's up to Summit. Hing, and I swear if Jasper is doing something to her I'd rip off his hands. Why can't I see anything, Belle? I snapped out of my thoughts and saw Alice scowling at my dear little sister. She had a low okay of innocence on her face as Jasper was beaming but yet nervous. I narrowed my eyes at him with suspicion. Me and Jasper have something to tell you all, she said while looking at Jasper with love. I watched as Jasper's smile grew, but I know he was worried about something. I asked Isabel to marry me and she said yes. He said with a smile, and I couldn't help but mutter, son of a bitch, under my breath as he looked at me and Emmett. Now I just noticed Emmett was glaring openly at Jasper, as was I. I flinched as Izzy glared at me. She was not happy. That little thought of you ripping his hands off before Peter won't go unpunished. I could hear the evil sinister smile in her voice and I gulped. That only means other 2 things: A, she tells Charlotte and I get no sex, or B, she gets me when I'm least expecting it. I started to get an edgy feeling when Alice stated she was going to hunt Emmett Pav. Me and Jasper have something to tell you all, she said while looking at Jasper with love. I narrowed my eyes as he smiled back at her. I have a feeling I won't like what is about to happen. I asked Isabel to marry me and she said yes, was all I heard before I glared at him. He could have asked me for permission first. I heard Peter mutter son of a bitch under his breath and I couldn't help but feel relieved that at least he agrees with me. Belly shot us both a glare and I felt Peter shiver. Obviously she said something to him. That goes for you to Emmett. If you dare touch my fiancé without good intention I won't be a nice little sister. Remember Emmy Bear? I learnt from the two best prankers in the world. I gulped and nodded eagerly in hope she understands that I don't want another prank war. I mumbled curses at Jasper under my breath and went to finish my game. Belle Pav. I smiled in success. They will leave my beloved husband to be alone and just talk to him. I kissed Jasper on the cheek and went to sit with Emmett on the couch and kick his butt at some Mario Kart. 10,000 says I can beat you at every race. I stated to Emmett as I picked up the wheel. No way Belly Bean, I always win. I couldn't help but laugh at my bear of a brother as he picked up his wheel. It'll did he know I was the national champion at this game and the only one he can't beat. Are you sure Emmett? Peter said with a cocky grin. What do you mean am I sure? I'm the second best. The only person who I can't beat is the champion. He said smugly and I laughed. Emmett brother I am the champion. I said through laughs and he gulped. 4 hours in Mario Kart, Guitar Hero, Halo and DDR. Later Emmett gave up yelling that I cheated at every game we played. You owe me 40,000 brother dear. I gave him my best shit-eating grin as he went to his room to fetch me my money. When he came back down mumbling about not understanding how he gotten beaten by his little sister, he handed me my money and went to sit with Rosalie who was trying to stifle a laugh. I went to place my money in my bag when I froze. Vision. Alice running, hunting after a deer, then someone grabs her from behind and carries her away laughing. Now that bitch can't avoid me, I have her precious sister. Then I can bring, the person who grabbed her trailed off. Vision end. What the fuck? I dropped the money and looked around in panic and Alice was gone. Where is she? Where did she go? Belle, what's wrong? Jasper was standing in front of me shaking me softly. Where is she? I asked in panic. Where's who Belly? Emmett asked confused. I growled and pushed my shield out. She wasn't in 5 miles near home and I started to panic more. Where is Alice? Where is my sister? I asked frantically. She went hunting just a while ago. Why? I ran out of the house screaming her name in panic. I could feel the family trying to keep up with me and hear them calling me to stop. Can't stop. Alice in danger. I growled and pushed myself faster than before. When I got close to where I saw my vision I stopped and sniffed the area. No, this can't be. I screamed out in frustration. There was no trace of Alice or the other vampire. Wait, is that Alice's phone? Yes it is. I ran over to where I saw the little silver rectangle or what's left of it and dropped to my knees. That's when I smelt it, the person stuffed up their plan, and I know who took Alice. I stood up and started pacing waiting for my family to arrive. I had thousands of questions running through my head. Why Alice? How did they know I wiped that stupid pet's memory? How did they get around my visions? How do they even know about my visions? Why didn't I see this until it was too late? Unless I was knocked out of my thoughts by twigs snapping and I sprung into a defensive crouch at the imposing vampires. When my family came out of trees, Emmett was holding a vampire I have seen once before. I walked up to the girl and sniffed. I was right. I have met her before. She was someone I could never forget. Her sickly sweet of gardenias and powder, what a horrible mix. Now I have got her, I growled as she looked at my family innocently, then frustrated. I chuckled darkly as she realized I threw my shield around them. Fuck, she cursed in her head and I laughed harder. I walked up to her with a smile that made everyone flinch and bent down to her ear. Do you never learn? I whispered to her. And do you never realize you break your father's heart? She thought to me and I cringed. Yes, it may be true I have been running away from him for 30 years, but that doesn't count. Where is my sister? I spat at her and she laughed. I didn't take your stupid sister. That black-haired bitch did. She spat back at me. If she didn't take her, then that leaves Maria. I heard growling behind me and the golden-haired girl cackle behind me. I grabbed her from Emmett and held her tight as the golden brown-haired boy came out of the darkness of the trees. My family snarled at him as he approached in a crouch. Well, hello dear Alec, I said coldly as I threw his sister to him. This is not going to be a good day after all. Belle Pav. Well, hello Miss Isabel. We have been looking for you for nearly 30 years now. He said with pleasantries. Out of the twins I preferred Alec the most. He was nice unless you messed around with his sister, but I could get away with bloody murder if I wanted to. Alec, what are you doing all the way here from Volterra? The curiousness in Carlyle's voice was obvious and I groaned. Well, Master Marcus has been quite heartbroken lately, Bacot. I growled at Alec to shut him up and his eyes widened in shock. You didn't tell them, he whispered. It was a statement, not a question. What is he talking about, Belle? My big oaf of a brother asked, confused. I sighed and faced my family. I looked at each and every one of my family and stopped at my fiancé. I decided not to tell him, so I spoke to Alec, never taking my eyes of my fiancé. Why have you come, Alec? I never addressed to Jane, she just pissed me off to no end. Because we have been looking for you for 30 years and even more now since we've heard the word of Maria wishing to kill you. I have come to help on my own behalf, Miss Isabel, but Jane here was ordered by Marcus. I hissed and stood protectively in front of my mate. I wish for you to not attack my fiancée Jane, remembered what happened last time. I smiled evilly and she gulped and stood behind her brother. Oh dude Belly, the little imp is afraid of you, that's classic. Emmett boomed, and the next thing he was flat on his ass with Jane screeching on top of him. I growled and yanked her off of my frightened brother and glared at the little imp, as my brother put it. How dare you hurt my blood brother? I hissed and her face paled. All people in Volterra knew I had a brother, Emmett. And that if he was alive and anyone attacked him or anyone who killed him when he died, I would fry them from the inside out. Isabel, please don't hurt my sister, she's all I have left. Alec pleaded and I shot him a glare. You know I despise that name, Alec, and what about Renata? Isn't she your mate yet, or did you chicken out? I told him the week I first arrived at Volterra and crowned princes. I used Marcus's power to see who everyone's soulmate was. Speaking of Marcus's power, I opened it up and saw the bonds between my family, and only one stood out. The bright red line that went from Jane in the direction of La Push. Well, this is just fantastic. Well, I'd be damned. I whispered out, stunned as I looked from Jane to La Push, but my mood suddenly shifted while I watched a vision play out. I can't believe I forgot my own sister is missing. Vision. Dark room. Smells like rotting flesh and fish. I saw Alice sitting in the corner mumbling and rocking backwards and forwards. I growled I heard that bitch's sinister laugh and threw a little girl into the room. Alice looked up with hunger, her eyes pitch black, but yet she stays put, begging me to find her. Eat up. We don't want the little girl go to waste. One snarled and I realized it was Maria's new pet Matthew. I watched him go closer to the girl and cut her arm. I screamed out as Alice pounced on the girl and fed. And when I came out of the vision, everyone looked paler and shocked. I faced Alec, who mouthed, projection. I fucking projected my vision. I saw Esme sob into Carlyle's shoulder, and as did Charlotte and Rosalie to their mates. I looked at Daniel, who was looking at a broken Edward. Don't worry, Edward the First will get her back, I whispered to him as he sobbed. I looked up with determination and faced my family. Everybody get ready, we leave tomorrow, I demanded, and everyone nodded. Emmett picked up Edward and followed everyone home. I remained behind to talk to Daniel, Peter, Charlotte, Jasper and the twins. We need to get her or she will die, I said, and they nodded. Oh, and Jane, don't even think about it. I shot her a glare. Belle, we need to make up a plan. We can't just walk in the unprotected and unprepared. Daniel said. I forced back a giggle. Everyone's going into war mode now, but it isn't my place to make a plan, it's Peter and Jasper's. It's not my duty to plan this thing, Jasper and Peter. Know Maria better than anyone. They will plan you help, and I will work with the twins on getting more help. They nodded and got to planning as I faced Alec and Jane. Who else is here, Alec, and do not lie to me? I hissed out and he looked shocked. Felix, Dimitri, Chelsea. I cut him off with a growl and grabbed his collar. Are you telling me he came here from Volterra without the others? I growled out and he nodded. He's at the Cullens now. I dropped him and ran back to the house. Jasper Pav. Who else is here, Alec, and do not lie to me? My bell hissed out, and even I was quite shocked. Eve. Since she had that vision of Alice go missing, she's been angry, not like herself. Felix, Dimitri, Chelsea. As soon as Alex said Chelsea, Bell had Alec up in the air by his collar. How did she do that without grabbing the robe? Are you telling me he came here from Volterra without the others? She growled at him. I watched his eyes move in the slightest direction, then she was running towards the house. What the fuck just happened? I hissed at Alec and he took off after Belle. We better go to Jasper, she's thinking a whole lot of profanities. Peter said, and I took off after her as well. As we reached the house I felt everyone's panic, and I now understand why. As I walked through the tree line I saw Belle was being held down by Felix and Dimitri, who were snarling at my fiancé. Jasper, don't. I glared at Peter and snarled at the two people holding down my fiancé. Let go of my fiancé now. I growled out, and the two idiots looked up to see me and backed away. I raced to Belle's side as Marcus did as well. Why did you come here, father? She spat at Marcus and I backed away, shocked. Father. Yes, father Jasper. Marcus fucking Volturi is my father. She growled and hopped up. Now, I will explain everything later. I have to get ready and get my sister back. Father, did you bring my weapons on this lovely visit? She spat the word lovely and I couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry, I know where they are. She trailed off and went to her room, but I swear I could have heard her say, I swear I will kill Alice myself. Belle Pav. Don't worry, I know where they are. I swear I will key Alice myself. I ran up to my room and, true to my vision, my weapons and Charlotte's is there in my fighting outfit and my fucking Volturi crest pin. Fuck that. I put on my black and white striped leather ambush military dress. My black stretch patent thigh-high boots that stopped an inch under my dress, and my black patent zip corset stretch belt which I made to hold my sabers or my double-bladed daggers, or well, both really. Oh, I can't forget my leather fingerless gloves. I pulled my hair up into a tight bun but leaving bangs and placed the Cullen crest hair clips to hold it in place. I sig head and put my Volturi crest on the middle of the part where the dress joins at the front around my neck, and then placed Angel's necklace over that. I placed my size in my boots on the outer thigh and my sabers and daggers in the clips on the back of my leather belt, easily to grab. I picked up Charlotte's weapon I made for her a while ago. It's made of my venom and the strongest metal like my weapons, and it can kill a vampire easily. Hers is 2 daggers which goes 5 inches above her knuckles and past her wrist. Well, it's double-bladed. All right, everyone ready? I asked as I reached the bottom of the steps. As I did, 4 things happened at once. Emmett Wolf whistled as Rose smacked him over the head, and Jasper threw waves of lust at me while Daniel and Peter fell over backwards. As I looked around the rest of my family, I saw their mouths were open wide with shock and awe. What? I asked, confused, and they snapped out of their state with a shake of their heads. You look, Rose started. Sexy, Daniel. Lethal, Peter said while glaring at Daniel. Dangerous, Marcus said with awe. Edible, I giggled at Jasper and walked over to Charlotte and handed her the weapons. These are yours, Charlotte, so Peter doesn't get distracted about worrying over you, but then again with what he's thinking now I might have to take them away. I said with a giggle while winking at my sister, who was hugging the blades with a smug smile. These, and I repeat, these can kill vampires. So stay away from the blades and when I fight with them, all right? They all nodded and I smiled before going in a vision. As the war finished I could hear screams and cries from Emmett and Carlisle. I panicked and raced over to see them kneeling in front of 2 piles of ashes sobbing out their mates' names. As I walked slowly over to the ashes I saw Esme's crest and wedding band in one and Rosalie's wedding band and crest in the other. No, this is all my fault, I cried out before everything went black. And I came out of my vision with panic and fear as I faced my mother and sister. Jasper was next to me asking what was wrong, to tell him what happened. But I couldn't. All I could do was walk over to Sme and Rose with unshed tears and pull them into a tight hug. I closed my eyes and forced a vision to come about what will happen if Esme and Rose won't go to the fight. It was better they stayed alive, but I still see myself blacking out. Esme and Rosalie, stay here, I whispered, and hell broke loose. What the fuck? There is no way I am staying here when my Emmett is going to fight a newborn army over my pile of ashes. My vision went red as I faced Rosalie and screamed at her back. And that's what you will be if you don't stay here with Esme. Silence. I sighed and counted down from 10 to calm myself down before I explained. I had a vision of Emmett and Carlisle sobbing in front of 2 piles of ashes after the war was finished, and as I got closer I saw both yours and Esme's wedding rings and crests in the ashes, and I don't have the power to bring you back from that, and I can't bear to see my father figure and brother hurt like that. I saw Marcus bow his head when I said Carlisle is my father figure. As did I get waves of deep pain roll off him. We need to leave now. I stated before hugging Rose and Esme goodbye and leaving. I ran towards the direction of Texas. That bitch will die by my hands. Belle, she is experienced, let us help you. Fuck Peter, she is my kill, she killed Angel and my daughter, took Alice and destroyed yours, Charlotte's and Jasper's lives, don't try and see. Change my mind, I yelled the last part at him in my head. I saw the sad look in his eyes as he nodded. That's what I love about Peter, he may be a bloody smart ass and a pain in the ass as well, but I love the fact he won't push you further on subjects. I love you too, Belle, my sexy ass vixen. I shot Peter a glare who now had a shit-eating grin on his face, and then I had an idea which should lighten the mood. I showed him a fake memory of me and Jasper having sex in the forest, every little detail of which I could imagine, then boom. Better watch where you're going, Peter, I giggled as I stopped and turned around to see Peter get up off the ground and shake off the splinters of the tree he just ran into. Dude, laugh, how could you? Laugh, run, laugh into a tree. Jasper howled with laughter and I couldn't help but giggle when everyone started laughing at my clumsy brother. Dude, your fiancé just showed me a memory, a very detailed one at that, of you having sex. He hollered at Jasper and Evie. Everyone just looked at him with shock, or Jasper with anger, while I just stood there and looked innocent. Peter, we haven't had sex yet. Jasper hollered back at him with defense and everyone looked at me. I cracked up laughing and smirked at Peter. Hey, what can I say, I'm a McCarty and I am good at imagining things. I gave Peter a wink that shocked and looked at me shocked as Emmett scoffed. Yeah, like you aren't any better, Emmett, I am a mind reader too, I can see you thinking of Rosalie wearing bare fur boots and claws butt naked on the bed for you. I hollered as he looked away sheepishly. I kept running past the forests, the trees, until it came to the desert. I sighed as it started to rain. Flashback. It was raining and I was starting to turn blue and purple, my dress saturated as I ran veer to a small cave bayed by rocks in the desert. I remember thinking how stupid I felt about going to Houston when it was raining. Oh my, poor child. You must be freezing. I turned around in alarm and relaxed when I saw the most beautiful lady I have ever seen, but something didn't feel right. She looked frightening, pale and her eyes were crimson red. It's a shame I have to kill you. She had a sinister smile playing on her lips as she pounced. I felt her teeth pierce my skin as another pair joined a second later, after that just pure fire and soothing words of a male. I'm sorry I was too late. End. I saw Peter look at me with pain across his face and everyone look at me or Peter in confusion. I shook off the sadness and let my rage come over me as I faced my heartbroken brother. I RMED a plan in my mind and pushed myself faster than before and used the wind to swirl around me as I pushed my legs off the ground into the air. It felt awkward as I felt my clothes become my feathers and my weapons become daggers in my wings, but I was thankful for Alia about her power of shifting objects into other objects, unlike Petal, as I formed into an eagle. I caught as I heard everyone gasp in awe and Peter, Charlotte, Alec and Father chuckle. Peter, stay there, I will find where they are staying. All right, be safe, sister, Peter thought back to me as I heard them come to a stop and ask what is happening. I flew fast in the sky and looked around till I came across faint purple smoke in the distance. I flew around the area and cawed in anger as I saw the rotting cabin near the river and understood why I smelt dead fish there based at an old fishery. I heard Alice sobbing in the shack and flew down to the window and formed to a mouse as I squeezed through the bars. I could hear about 120 newborns outside arguing and the witch's horrid cackle. I need to speak with Alice but distract them for a bell. You have the power to talk with people through their minds, idiot, use it. Peter logged head at me and I growled at him in my head before looking at Alice. I squeaked in shock as I saw her tethered clothes and thanking God I bought Alice some fresh clothes. As I got closer I saw her once shining topaz eyes, a hollow bright reed color, and I know one thing's for sure, I would never forgive myself. Alice, shush, it's all right sweetie, look at me, I called to her as I formed into myself. Alice looked up in shock and almost squealed when she saw me, but I covered her mouth with my hand and looked up through the window to see if no one noticed. Alice, you can talk to me through your mind but don't speak out loud, okay? I pleaded with her through my mind and she nodded. Belle, can you get me out of here? She pleaded with me and I slowly shook my head no. Alice, I may have a lot of power but I see and take 100 plus newborns without getting hurt more. She looked at me curiously before looking in the future. Shit, she will see me black out and get hurt no matter what I do. You're going to die, Isabel. She screamed and I winced while holding my head. I let my gaze find hers as venom pooled in both our eyes. Alice, please promise me if something does happen, give me time to recoup and look after ya. Spur, I have a feeling I will be out for a while. I have to go now, Alice, but I will get the others here right away. They're only 6 miles that way. I love you, Alice, and I'm sorry I rushed out as I heard people coming towards the hut. I formed to a mouse and squeezed back through the bars before I formed to an eagle again. I flew back towards Jasper and then did a flip while reverting back to my old self. They're at the old fishery 6 miles up the river. We need to leave now. Be warned, there is well over 100. The nodded as I took off with Edward next to me and the rest hot on my heels. Eared Maria screeching as someone informed her of our approach and stopped dead in my tracks as I looked at the army in front of me with a sinister-looking black-haired witch holding Alice by the neck. Well, isn't it a pleasure to see you again, Isabel? She spat my name with disgust and I felt a growl vibrate in my chest as she gave me a small smug smile before everything went into chaos. Belle Pav, the pleasure is all mine. I growled before I attacked the 3 newborns coming directly towards me. I saw her watching from the sidelines with Alice in her hands as I ripped one of the 3 idiots who tried to attack me head off. I laughed as I used my sabers and decapitated the other 2 and watched Maria's disgusting smirk leave her face with shock and surprise. Ha ha, I caught her off guard. I heard Charlotte scream and saw about 7 newborns jump on Peter. I hissed and charged and seeing my vision cloud over with a white and red haze. I pushed myself harder as I felt Peter's fear and his plea for help as I got attacked from the side and 2 pairs of jaws attach on my collarbone. Emmett, Jasper, help Peter now. I yelled towards my god and oath. Ha ha, god and oath. Help. I snapped out of the joke and got back to the task at hand with a growl. I could feel that one of the fuckers about to sink his teeth all the way through the arm while the other had my neck. Don't kill her, she is mine. I heard Maria yell, but they didn't listen and kept clenching their jaw harder before letting go, screaming in pain. By the time I realized who did it, Jane had torn them apart with a scream. And a satisfied smirk on her pale pink lips as her eyes gleamed with satisfaction before running and killing 2 more. While I had the chance, I took the chance to look at my family to see if they were in need of help. Jasper and Emmett got Peter and was now helping Charlotte take out 3 more newborns as Carlisle and Daniel took out 5 more. The sounds of cries of pain from both my family and the newborns as they collided with the sound of thunder, followed by the familiar sound of metal ripping as the sky filled with the familiar scent of burning vampire and purple smoke. Alec and Jane were using their powers if any dared to come near Marcus before ripping them and throwing their torn flesh into the growing pile near their spot. I growled in pain and anger as I felt the sudden impact from behind, acquired with the set of the razor-sharp teeth and the impact to the ground near the river I flew across not long ago. With instinct I grabbed the idiot who attacked me head and threw him over me before spinning and kicking him in mid-air, but as my foot made impact of her fucking new pet's chest, her grabbed my leg and pulled me up and over him before we both collided with the river bed. As surprised when he used this chance to use my back and kicked off from it, pushing me further into the ground. I groaned and pushed myself up while flinging my hair back as my head surfaced from the shallow river and crouched ready to attack Matthew. Common sweetheart, he whispered huskily with a disgusting smirk before I kicked him square in the chest. Jasper paused just to see from his point of view of Belle fighting Matthew. As I watched Belle being thrown into the river by the one Belle described as Matthew, I quickly killed the newborn I had now as my vision hazed with red. I took off toward them growling, but was stopped by Peter that looked just as pissed off as me but told me to watch anyway, as I stood there watching as Matthew kicked off the bottom and come out and landing in a crew. I saw Belle rise with her eyes of a bright crimson red and water trickling down her head past her shoulders and into her cleavage. God, she looks like a goddess and so sexy. Jasper, get your head out of the gutter and help me while watching fuck. Peter hissed as another newborn bit into his shoulder, managing to rip half of his arm off. I sent waves of fear and lethargy towards the poor girl and sunk my teeth in her neck and ribbed her pretty little head of. As I stepped back, I saw Matthew fly past me, followed by Isabel's cry of joy. She flew past me as Matthew got up and roundhouse kicked his head into the ground. I watched with lust as she bent over, showing me her perfect little apple-shaped ass, and pull out her say as she stood over him and held them to her neck. I growled as I felt more lust coming off him in fear as she bent down and whispered something in his ear with a smile before decapitating him. What surprised me though was when she turned around she blew me a kiss. And shook her hips with a wink before going after another vampire. Belle Pav. I felt Jasper's rage, lust and jealousy as I bent over to whisper in Matthew's ear, but I felt sick as I felt this vile creature's lust hit me full force and couldn't help but whisper huskily in his ear as I placed my say at his neck, crossing over. Now you know, Matthew, I sent that last pet here with a warning, unfortunate. Telly for him he got killed by my mate Jasper. I hope you have a good time in hell, sweetheart, because you just messed with the prophecy. My say sliced through his neck like butter and smiled as I heard his last breath escape in a hiss. I could feel Jasper's lust hit me again along with amazement and turned to blow him a kiss while shaking my hips for him a little. As I gave him a wink I took off to attack another fucker who decided it to be a good idea to sneak up on Carlisle and Daniel and took him out before he even knew what hit him. My father smiled thanks before taking off and ripping 5 newborns attacking Daniel off his back while he ripped them apart. I took the time to search for my goal and saw Maria standing at the top of a small rock cliff with Alice at her feet sobbing over her husband who was trying to fuse back together. I growled as I transported in front of Maria and laughed as she jumped back 10 feet with a scream. Alice, take Edward and run to Marucs. Run. Run now. I screamed my thoughts to her, never taking my eyes off Maria who was snarling at me. I heard Alice jump at my voice and Edward hiss out in pain as Alice picked Edward up and ran towards my father. Well, hello Maria, I believe we have a score to settle, but I must ask, I am a little curious as to why are you after me? I smiled angelically and curiously at her as I know why she is after me. You know, why I want to kill you and the ones you love. She spat out at me through clenched teeth, her crimson eyes darkening as a sinister smile grew on my face. Yes, and I enjoyed destroying your pathetic mate. Really Maria, he was not a good fighter at all. I laughed. I know it's not a smart thing to provoke her as I know how vengeful Maria is, but yet I couldn't help but be a bitch. She killed 2 of mine, 1 more than hers. Yes, and I will enjoy killing you. She screeched as she lunged towards me. I threw up my physical shield so no one could enter and stop me fighting and stepped out of the way just in time. Oh, and look, the princess is all out of weapons. Fuck, I knew I should have picked them up. I crouched down and we started our dance. From human eyes it would seem like we would be dancing. But if you were a vampire who knew better you could tell we were analyzing an attack. I laughed as I provoked her more by making doubles of myself and just stood there as she fought them off until I was the last one. But then again I felt bad as I have powers I could use yet wish not to. This needs to be an equal fight, so therefore hand-on-hand combat is good enough. I crouched lower and sprung, but something didn't feel right. As I reached her, that devilish smile formed on her lips and grabbed my arm and spun, then throwing me into the ground, making dirt fly up into the air and my arm to rip off. I screeched in pain, which was followed by Maria's laugh. I felt the smugness radiate off her and felt disgusted as she got off on the fact she ripped my arm off. I got up holding my shoulder. A hiss as venom leaked from the wound. Ah, I'm sorry, did I hurt the princess? She sung with a smile which turned into a sneer and images attacked my head. Angel's arm being ripped off with a LLIC scraping sound with Daniel's pleas in the background. Angel's other arm being ripped off by Matthew and Troy as my sister's scream of pain filled my head before her head was ripped off and thrown in the pyre of the promise to Daniel. I held my hands to my ears to stop the pain as I fell to the ground. I couldn't take it anymore, please make it stop. But what made me snap was the last one. It was of Paige, who was cowering in the corner with barely any clothes, and Troy going out of the door with a satisfied smirk on his face. That was a good one, so feisty. He smirked as Paige's screams filled the air as Maria ripped her to pieces laughing. I stood up growling viciously as the familiar tingle of Daniel's power kicked in and red haze covered my vision. Thunder and lightning filled the air. As the rain poured down harder along with hail, I charged towards a shocked-looking Maria. The first couldn't care if I only had one arm and wrapped it around her throat with my nails in her neck. I growled I threw her 100 yards into the forest for just enough time to attach my arm and used my healing power to speed up the process. I watched as Maria came at me screeching and claws out, but I was in no mood to mess around anymore. I jumped up in the air and spun while kicking her into the ground. I faintly heard people begging to let me in to help, but this was my war and my kill. I flipped as she was trying to get up and landed on her back. She was radiating fear, and I couldn't help but feel satisfied as she groaned out in pain as I flipped her over again and ripping out her arms and pressing my foot into her chest with enough pressure that could probably even break a vampire's ribcage. I smiled as I bent down to whisper into her ear and chuckled darkly before speaking in a sickly sweet tone that would send shivers down anyone's spine before I granted her death, well after torture. This is for my fiancé Jasper. I used my other foot and put pressure on her leg, popping it out of place, and laughed as she screeched in pain. This is for my brother and sister, Charlotte and Peter. I applied more pressure and removing the whole leg from her body. I snarled as she kept her jaw shut and not uttering even a sound. I shifted my foot over to the other leg and applied little pressure, not enough to pop it out of place but enough to make it uncomfortable. This is for Daniel and my family. I removed their leg and she screamed in pain louder as a sickening crunch sound came from under my foot. Oops, I guess I made you human again. I laughed as I watched her once clear venom turn red and her heart stutter to life, then beat weakly. And this, I heard a crunch under my foot as I fractured her ribs, is for my daughter and sister Angel. I crushed her ribs and pulled her head off before lighting her body on fire with the snap of my fingers. I turned and faced everyone who was staring at me in shock before Alice screamed and my vision went into a welcoming black haze. Jasper Pav. I watched in shock along with everyone else in the storm as Issa tortured my creator with pleasure. Yes, it was something that made her look sexy, but it made me fear something, and my thoughts were conference earned as Peter started pounding on the shield again. Izzy, stop. You're not this person. Stop, Izzy, stop. I whipped my head around to Peter as he dropped to his knees looking at my fiancé. What do you mean, Peter? What's wrong? I asked frantically. He looked up at me with sadness in his crimson eyes along with rage. She succumbed to her instinct. Jasper, she's lost herself in her rage and vengeance. And I am terrified she won't come back from this, not this time. He whispered as my eyes reverted back to my darling Isabel. This is for Daniel and my family. Izzy removed Maria's leg with a sickening crunch and her laugh filled the air with Maria's screams. I felt everyone's shock and confusion as we smelt blood fill the air, but it was sickening, like it has been bottled up for 100 years. Oops, I guess I made you human again. Everyone gasped as Izzy's laugh filled the air along with the faint beat of Maria's dead heart. She has the power to turn us human. I heard Carlisle ask too. Nobody but Marcus answered in the same hushed tone. Yes, but you will still be a vampire in some ways. Hard skin, senses and immortality, but that's it, the rest is human. I ignored this fact and shed it to the back of my mind as Izzy whispered her last words to Maria. And this is for my daughter and sister Angel. Her foot crushed her ribs as she ripped Maria's head off, being splattered by blood in the process and throwing it with the rest of her limbs before setting them on fire. I gasped at her disfigured shoulders, arms and neck as she faced us. She was like a fallen angel but still beautiful. I heard Alice scream before running off towards Belle. My fiancé dropped into a numb abyss with a smile ghosting her pale red lips. I ran after Alice and scooped Izzy up in my arms. Peter, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. I screamed as the fear and pain finally hit me that I might have lost my mate. I can't hear anything and all I see is black. We need to get her back home now, he ordered. But he was too late. I was already running towards Forks, pushing myself faster than I ever managed before. She knew this was going to happen to her. Alice sobbed into Edward, who was still healing, but ignoring the pain to comfort his wife. She knew. What did she tell you? Emmett roared just behind me, making me jump a little bit in surprise. She made me promise to let her recoup if this did happen and make sure Jasper didn't get hurt. She whispered back. I looked down to my mate's sleep-like form with venom pooling in my eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Why would you leave me like this? I cried out in my mind to her as I tucked her into the crook of my neck. I called Esme to tell the wolves to be at outhouse. I haven't told her yet, I don't know how to. Carlisle trailed off into a broken whisper while putting his phone back into his pocket. Before I knew it, I was back into the familiar forest of Forks. Wow, that really went fast. I kept running towards the house as I looked at Izzy. Fuck, look at all her new scars and I only got one. Her body was marred in old and new scars and her neck still fusing where it looked like 6 newborns tried to rip off her head as her arm was trying to fuse as it was ripped off a few times as her other arm from when Matthew tore it off. Tell me someone picked up her weapons. I asked, still in a worried tone, and heard Charlotte mutter, "Of course." As the house came into view, the pack, Esme, Rosalie and Emily, came running outside. I ran out of the trees and straight past them and up to her room in the tower. I could hear the girls sobbing downstairs as he boys came running up here to see the damage. "She needs to change." I ran to her closet and got her a silk bed dress and told the boys who just got in the room to cover their eyes. I quickly took off her boots and dress without ripping it and carefully placed the nightie over her marred skin. "Alice, do you know when she will wake up?" I whispered as I placed my head next to her body and held my mate's hand. "I don't know, it's still hazy. It's like she's making a decision." She trailed off and fell to the floor sobbing. "It's been 2 weeks since Belle has been in her coma-like state. No one has left the room unless to hunt, and the pack only left once to grab all their clothes and 2 years' worth of food as they stay in her room with the rest of us. We try to avoid leaving as much as possible just in case she wakes up and we're not here. Please Izzy, wake up, I need you so much." I sobbed into her hair and I felt everybody's eyes bore into the back of my head. It was he first thing I have spoken in about 2 weeks. "Little Belle, please come back to us. I can't lose you too, Belle." Daniel pleaded to her from his spot near the bed. We tried pleading, begging, everything. But we still got no response, and as hours pass by, the haze in Alice's vision turns a darker shade, like the side where she doesn't want to come back is winning. It tore my heart out just a little bit further. "Izzy, I love you. Please come back. Who else is going to protect me from Emmett, Peter and Daniel, huh?" I smiled towards my sleeping angel. "And who's going to give me a hug and kiss when I'm feeling glum? I need you, Belle, come back to me please. Please baby, I need you. I love you so much it hurts." I sobbed. The one smile I had on my lips was now faded into nothing. I can't smile without my angel. Belle, Pav. Black. That's all I ever see, nothing. Numbness. That's all I can feel, nothing. Silence is all I can hear now. I can't escape the black solitude in my brain, but I don't really want to leave this place. Yes, it might be black, numb and silenced, but it was peaceful. I didn't want to leave my solitude. How long have I been like this? It feels like forever. I'm so bored. I laughed at my stupid mind. God, I'm in my mind, yet I'm thinking of something in my head which is in my head. Wow, Isabel, you have finally lost it. Wait, what is that noise? I walked towards the sound of people sobbing. Well, at least sobbing is better than the silence. Yes, it may have been peaceful, but I was bored as hell. Please Izzy, wake up, I need you so much. Jazzy. Oh Jazzy, please don't cry, I'm coming baby. I felt the darkness trying to pull me back in with heavy chains, but I refused and kept trying to climb out of darkness. Little Belle, please come back to us, I can't lose you too, Belle. I heard Daniel plead. He sounded so broken, so useless. I could hear the rest of the family and pack were begging me to come back, that they needed me. I tried to fight against the chains, but I was so tired. I could see the light of my darkness, but I was so tired. I just want to sleep. Izzy, I love you. Please come back. Who else is going to protect me from Emmett, Peter and Daniel, huh? And who's going to give me a hug and kiss when I'm feeling glum? I need you, Belle, come back to me please. Please baby, I need you. I love you so much it hurts. Jasper sobbed and I couldn't take it anymore. I broke out of the chains screaming and into the light. But that's just it. It's light, no family, no friends or colors, just the bright white light. But I could feel and smell now, but still I can't move. Jazz, I can't see anymore. Alice stopped, choking back a sob as my Jasper screamed in pain, followed by it sounded like Daniel and Emmett pulling him out of the room. I could smell everyone leave but Peter, who now what felt like sitting next to me sobbing. Izzy, I hope you found peace, my sister. I love you. I felt a soft pressure on my head and something soft lay across my skin. What is that? Is that a sheet? No. I thrashed around this pathetic light. They think I'm dead. They think I'm dead. I need to leave. Please God, have mercy and let me return to my family, my love. I tried to force myself to move a finger, a toe, a twitch of my nose, anything. I need Jasper. I need to tell him, to tell my family I'm not dead, that I'm alive. And then finally, after probably hours of frustration and concentration, I shot up in my empty room with screaming from outside. I turned invisible and walked downstairs to see what the commotion was about. What I saw broke my heart. Daniel, Peter and Emmett, who were holding do. WN, a screaming Jasper who was trying to get to a fire as Carlyle tried to sedate him with what looked like was enough to kill an elephant. I looked at the Pax who were trying to comfort Emily and Sam as the girls cried in their hands. I sighed and made myself visible as I stood at the last step with my arms crossed and a confused face on. Who died? I asked with fake curiosity, and all heads snapped my way with shock. What? Belle Pav. As everyone started at me in shock, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. The family's faces were classic, yet I know their sadness of losing me has way. D them down, and half of them think they lost their mind believing that I am a hallucination. Guys, seriously, I told Alice to let me recoup. I rolled my eyes at them and gasped as everyone tackled me to the floor, crushing my staircase in the process. Okay, get off me, I get it, you missed me, I gasped out between fits of giggles. As everyone got off me and stood back, I saw my staircase and groaned. Half of the wall was missing and a quarter of my staircase too. Now look what you did to my house, was that really necessary? I huffed while brushing wood chips and dust off me. We're sorry is. ZY we thought you. Charlotte trailed off in a hushed whisper. I sighed but faced my silly mate. It's okay, Charlotte. And you, what the hell were you thinking? What if I didn't die and you managed to kill yourself, huh? Then what? I yelled at Jasper, that flinched back behind Emmett and Peter. Slap him in the head, Peter. As soon as the thought was in my head, there was a deafening whack. What the hell was that for Peter? Fuck. Jasper hissed while rubbing his head. I jutted my hip out and crossed my arms, looking at him with a raised eyebrow, and Peter pointed to me as Jasper went to hit him. I couldn't live without you, darlin'. Peter couldn't hear you and Alice couldn't see you. You were out for little over 2 weeks. He chalked back a sob, and I washed all my anger away and hugged my mate. Shish honey, it's all right. I'm here now, shish. I soothed him as he sobbed into my shoulder. As I looked around, I saw all the girls with pleading on their faces, with one thought in their heads. Can we have a hug? I sighed and opened my free arm and beckoned them to come here. I had made a decision and looked into the future to see who said yes and who said no. Only Rosalie and Esme. Rose, SME, can we sit in the lounge? I have something to ask of you, I said with a smile, and watched as my mother and sister looked at each other curiously before shrugging and sitting on one of the white leather couches. Is there something wrong, Belle? Esme asked, concerned. I couldn't help but giggle but shake my head no in response. Okay, I'm feeling power drained, but I know this will be worth another day's rest or whatever, but I need to ask you something. I sighed out with one breath and looked at them nervously as Peter shot me a warning glance. What is it, Bells? Rose asked with curiosity thick in her voice. I took in a deep breath and prepared for the attack of my sister and mother with hugs. What if I could give you the chance to have a baby? I asked and watched their faces turn one fr. Curious to shock, then a grin that could blind anyone. I held my breath as I awaited their answer and felt Jasper send me waves of love, shock and joy. I smiled as I looked around my shocked family and sighed. Everything feels so peaceful, but why do I have the feeling it won't last for too long? Well, what do you say? I faced my mother, who was sobbing, into my golden-haired father and swore to protect her even if I have to risk my own life. As I looked at Cole, Connie and Ben, I could see they were thinking the same thing as their eyes turned from the honey topaz to pure black as they looked at our sister Ellie, who was now whimpering in pain. I promise, Ben, I will hurt her. And I am sorry, Carlyle, but right now I can see everyone wants to kill her, I said with venom, but out of the corner of my eye I could see the sadness in his eyes, but nodded in understanding. Jasper, we need to start training. I have a feeling Lalina will not come alone, especially if Alex is on her side and attacking his own wife. I also have a feeling she does indeed have a power like Heidi, but she can only control the men of our species, I stated, and everyone looked at me with bewilderment. I am not the Sam innocent Isabella Swan I used to be. As I was a human, I'm now a Cullen, and I have learnt to be tougher. I saw Rosalie give me a proud smile while holding a sleeping Nessie. Let's go, relax, love. My who's band whispered in my ear as he wrapped his long arms around my tense frame. I turned in his embrace and pecked my husband on his lips with a wicked smile. I wiggled out of his arms and grabbed him by the arm. I guess Alice and Rose knew what I wanted to do, as they did the same with their mates. Even I could see the lust in their eyes from being away from their loves for too long. But I can't think of sex now, Ellie is hurt. I turned, and as I was about to saw something, Connie spoke with cheekiness and grinned evilly. Go tease your husband, sis. I know he wants your sexy body. Don't worry about Ellie, we will look after our sister. I felt my jaw drop as she winked at me and Cole snicker. I growled playfully at her and dragged my husband to our room after checking to see if Nessie was still sleeping. I giggled as Jake was fast asleep on her floor in his wolf form, snoring and kicking. Come on baby, I want to have some fun. I winked at my husband and felt his erect against my back and moaned. The end. Thanks for watching. Do let me know your opinions in comment section.